Mic'd Up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good time. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys would come in and say,
Oh, God.
So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock, and he's sitting there.
Helmet.
He's punching me in the stomach, like steady punching me.
Here, and there's everyone sitting around. Who here thinks Ovchinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's been with the team
6 minutes.
for 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ovchinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I fucking saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
Be on the spirit plane had some issues. I think she was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Time to start the show.
Why would I have that?
You had in a circus or something.
6'3", I'm waiting. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, man.
Hey, it's just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
They're all fatter than I am.
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
Yeah.
He was like, "I'll piss my pants right now."
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, "I'll piss my pants right now." Hello. Good evening. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today's Monday, April 17th. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I did. Luckily, it wasn't as busy as it normally is. Lloyd had a busier weekend than I did, I think, which is good. Jay had a good weekend, I believe.
Very chill.
Very chill, which is always good.
Very good.
Always good. Love chill weekends. Haven't had many chill weekends over the last 3 months. I think that I'm about to start having a few, which I'm very much excited about. Today is Ask Mikie and Mitch Mondays, no longer Jay Johnson Mondays. It is Jay Johnson Wednesdays. I promised everybody that we would have, based on the players, some athletes on the shows on Mondays. That promise is still going to be fulfilled. But today, there is an award ceremony. Dylan Cruz is getting presented an award. I do not know what award it is, but he is getting presented an award. I spoke to Jay today. That is where the team is going to be. So no athletes.
Are you breaking
here
news
today.
right now?
Huh?
Are you breaking news right now?
No, that's just the award ceremony that they're going to. I don't know what award it is, but that's what's
Times
happening.
Man of the Year?
Huh?
Times Man of
Yeah.
the Year?
Yeah, Times Man of the Year.
Times is doing an award show in Baton Rouge.
Walter Payton Man of the Year award. They're just going to give it
Put
to
the
him.
patch on the jersey.
NFL is just going to give it to him
The
right
NFL
now.
awards are in Baton Rouge now.
Yeah. That's what's happening. But that's what's going on today. So you get Ask Mikie and Mitch on today's Monday. We get the recap of the weekend. Running through the Heineken headlines, LSU took 2 out of 3 from Kentucky. They just continue to win series. Somehow, some way, find a way to win the series. That's the most important thing. They are now 9-5 in conference. Kentucky is 10-5. Kentucky's going through their gauntlet. LSU got through their gauntlet. Still have to play some good teams, some teams that can beat you, that you can't lay down for. But the toughest part of the SC schedule is over with. That one game hopefully does not come back to haunt LSU that they didn't get to finish in South Carolina. But took 2 of 3 from Kentucky. Did play perfect. They obviously the Friday game. Correction. The Thursday game. I'm so fucking over the Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I'm
series.
glad that you actually swore about that because it is
I mean, I get a couple of them, but just what's been 3 in a row.
It's been 3 in a row.
3 in a row. That's a lot. right?
Because everybody says Friday night guy.
Yeah.
And then it
Right.
just it throws everything off.
Thursday,
I'm done with it.
Thursday, LSU beats Kentucky 16-6. Looked great. Had a bunch of homers. Hit 2 grand slams and a 3-run homer. Did what they needed to do. Obviously, we talked about that game on Friday. Boom, get game 1. Game 2 didn't go as planned. Had some blunders. Had some self-inflicted wounds. There's some reasons why the score ended up what it was. It was 6-2 in the 6th inning. So the game wasn't really. LSU was winning 6-2. Oof. Almost got a little
indigestion.
Little hiccup there, like mid conversation there. But LSU was winning 6-2 in the 6th inning. All of a sudden, the wheels kind of fell off. A couple errors, couple miscues in the outfield that maybe not have been considered an error, but if you ask them, that should have been caught. Plays that should have happened, and then all of a sudden, the score kind of got out of hand. Kentucky scored 10 runs in 2 innings that ended up beating LSU 13-10. When you score 10 runs, you'd imagine that you should win the game. That did not happen. They come back on Saturday. Everybody thought the game was going to get rained out. They did a good job of not making a doubleheader. I'm happy that they held off on that so that they could play the game on Friday. They were only delayed an hour, which was fine, right? A 2 o'clock game. They finished that game. They went 8-7. Jay Johnson came out and said, this is the best game that he has been a part of the last 2 years, which is a big statement, right? Now, it was a must-have. It was a top 10 matchup over the weekend. It was against a team that has come in playing very good baseball, had a different brand of baseball, played small ball. They did the things that kind of forced the defense to make mistakes. But LSU found a way to win, 8-7. Obviously, Tommy White got hit with the bases loaded, so it wasn't a glamorous way to win the game. But they won the game, 8-7. They won the series. They move on to the next series, which is this weekend at Ole Miss. So, all in all, I'm pretty excited, pretty happy about what happened over the weekend. Let's run through the rest of these before we really get into the details of the baseball weekend and previewing the LSU UL game tomorrow, which is always pretty good in-state rivalry, always a pretty good midweek game. Jalen Hurts just signed a 5-year, $255 million deal, $180 million guaranteed. Good for Jalen Hurts. Good for him. I think he's earned every single cent of that. I think it was well-earned, well-deserved. I'm happy for him. I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's handled everything that he's gone through in his career with a lot of class and a lot of maturity, and good people get rewarded, and he got rewarded. I'm very happy for him. LSU Gymnastics finishes 4th in the country, or I guess 4th in the national championship tournament. Is that what that would be called?
I think it's the Final Four on the floor.
Right, but was that I guess it's just a match?
Yeah, it's like the Final Four, and then they do
Right.
the cumulative scores, and
Yeah,
came
right,
in 4th.
right. So they came in 4th, right, which is fine.
Hey, just happy to be there.
They're in the national championship. They had a chance to win. Obviously, that's a huge accomplishment. Hopefully, they're back next year. LSU softball lost 2-3 to unranked Auburn. That's tough, but that's okay. It happens. It's baseball or softball, same thing. And you move on. You get through those things. LSU basketball kind of had some things happening. They had a couple guys transfer. They had a couple guys stay. Tyrell Ward stayed. 5-star guy stays here. I think that's a big get for Coach McMahon and the boys, because he started to come on later on in the year. They also got a 7-foot transfer from Nevada who put up some pretty decent numbers. He was a former top 30 overall prospect in basketball. So those are 2 additions. You lose the other 7-footer you had on the bench that started playing towards the end of the year. But, that's part of the nature of the beast with the transfer portal and NIL and all of those types of things. And that is it. That is the end of the Heineken headline.
That's the end of the show. All right,
That's
see you
it. We're going to
on
go home.
Wednesday.
7-minute show.
Good.
7 minutes. But
What can you do in a minute?
is it a real minute, a New York minute? What is it? You know what I mean?
It depends on, I guess, what coast you're on. Central Time? Eastern Time?
I don't think
Mountain
that
time?
matters. I don't think that matters. I think the minute in California is a lot different than the minute in New York, based off of the.
I'm a
the
California
vibes.
minute man.
I would imagine. I would imagine that you are.
You're a New York minute man.
Yes.
As I heard,
Sometimes.
I heard today.
Sometimes. What does that mean?
No.
I don't know. I have no idea what that means.
Sorry about the parchment paper.
That has nothing
Try
to
my
do with
best.
being. That's nothing to do with what we're talking about at all. But let's talk about.
Got you the
sports.
ticker.
Let's talk about sports. When you ask for something, you hope that it gets done. That's all you really ask for, right? Like you just hope that at some point in the course of this 5 months that you've asked for it, that it happens.
Sometimes they say if you want something done,
Gotta
Do it
gotta
yourself.
do it.
Problem is, I have no idea how to do that. So
Either.
you just told me you did.
Oh,
I'm learning.
man.
Well, you know more than I do. And it's not even about you that I'm upset with. It's about the person who is supposed to be doing it that you have the line of communication with, right? But let's get to the conversation.
I'm getting Jay Johnson a microphone.
Let's get. I'm happy. That's great.
Thanks.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Nobody asked.
That's good. Thank you for
Do
that.
it myself.
Thank you for that. I'm happy that you did that. I'm happy that you took initiative in that.
It's in my car.
I'd like for you to take initiative on the other stuff too. Which you have.
I'm only one man.
Which you have, but I would, follow-ups. We'll talk. We'll talk about that.
Oh, I don't want. Oh,
Let's get
that
to
sounds
the
bad.
Let's get to the
Boy,
conversation.
you brought this up. You
did
realize
bring
you
this
did
up.
this on yourself just now.
I
did.
just want other
I don't know if
people-
you thought you were going to be able to get a public audience on
I
your
think that's
side.
what I'm- that's what I'm
You
hoping
definitely
for.
did this to yourself, though. I just want to let you know.
Yeah, I just want people to feel sorry for me.
I don't think that
I'm
anybody
getting no
needs to,
empathy
needs to
or
feel-
sympathy
no,
for
I don't
Mikey.
think. No, you shouldn't. And I'm very empathetic normally. This is nothing. There's nothing to be empathetic about with this situation. Anyways, let's get to the conversation. Let's get to the baseball
Heineken
conversation. What's that? Let's get to the baseball conversation. Obviously, LSU wins 2 out of 3. It's a big series. Like we said, anytime you win the series, you should win. I came in here on Friday and said after watching the game on Thursday, I felt like LSU had a legitimate chance to sweep. And I think they still did, right? Obviously, the Friday game kind of got a little upside down and sideways, and it didn't really work out the way. But they came back and win on Saturday, and they won the series. I think talent-wise, LSU was obviously better. I think Kentucky did a very good job of playing their brand of baseball. Obviously, LSU had some self-inflicted mistakes, not really in the infield either. More not striking or not getting guys out, walking guys, putting guys on base, and then a couple of blunders that probably were very uncharacteristic that didn't go down as an error, but probably should have been with the fly ball in right field that cost them runs. And then you look at Griffin Herring's outing and you look at his number and his line, I think it's a little skewed, right? He gave up 7 runs, only 3 of them were earned, which kind of goes to show you what the mistakes that were made. Now, after a game like that, to come back and rebound and win is huge. But let's get to the recap, Jay. What did you see from the guys? And what did you see? Or I guess we talked about Thursday's game. What did you see Friday and Saturday?
I do think, and look, it's tough to do. Sometimes the guy on the mound is just throwing well. Shit happens, right? I do think had they been able to come out Friday and kind of get on top of them early like they did Thursday night, I do think you end up seeing them sweep that weekend. Kentucky was just able to play their brand of baseball Friday and Saturday. And I do think that shows a lot about what kind of LSU team you have because they were able to overcome and win the series. Like we said after watching the Thursday game on the Friday show, that we thought that LSU's team was a easily superiorly talented team than the other team, right? But baseball is baseball. You got to come out and you got to play it, right? So they were able to win. Obviously, there was the defensive blunders that happened Friday, which has been far and few this year. It's been very rare. But I do think had they been able to come out and kind of on the gas pedal, that would have changed things. But listen, when you put up the amount of runs you put up the night before, even though it didn't come from a lot of hits, it's really, really, really hard to back that up and do it again the very next night. Now, I think it goes to show you a lot that they seemingly didn't play their best baseball all weekend, and they still won the series, right? But I think it'd be easy to say that this has been their most, if you want to call it that, disappointing series of the year so far.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the box score right now, right? LSU scored in the bottom of the first. This is the Friday game. Scored in the bottom of the first. Kentucky scored 2 in the top of the second. LSU responded, which they've been doing all year, with 2 runs in the bottom of the second. So now they're up 3-2, right? Third inning, goose eggs for both teams. Fourth inning, Kentucky scores none. LSU scores 3. So now they are up 6-2 going into the 5th. I said the 6th, going into the 5th.
Right.
The 5th inning is when the wheels fell off.
Right.
Right? So 5th inning, they're up 6-2. They give up a 5 spot. Now they're down 7-6. Then you go to the 7th, another 5 spot for Kentucky. And errors and defensive miscues were big things in those situations. So my point is, you're up 6-2 going into the 5th inning with your starter in the mound, still on the mound. He's gone 4 2/3, right? He went 4 2/3. He gave up, I think, 6 runs, but only 3 of them, or 5 runs, and only 3 of them were earned.
Yeah.
Right. So it just wasn't a crisp game. Is probably the way you should. LSU made 3 errors in that game.
And to your defensive blunders and the point about you're making about defense, I do think there's something to say about playing the game for as long as you and I have, right? There is something to say about quote-unquote bad defense with the inability to pound the strike zone on the mound. Right? You kind of, when your misses are big and you're all over the place and every hitter's 2-0 and every hitter's 3-2, whether you believe it or not or want to actually admit it or not, you do put defensive players on their heels.
No doubt.
And it makes it very hard to be assertive and connected to every pitch that you throw. So things kind of start happening. Guys' minds creep, their body creeps a little bit, and next thing you know, you're not as focused and as concentrated as you should be.
Right.
And I do think there was a little bit of some of that that's kind of starting to creep in because, like we said, this has been 3 starts in a row where you just haven't seen a sharp Ty Floyd.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying walks. Like Ty Floyd walked 3 guys.
It's not about just the walks. It's about like I said, when you're 2-0 and then you're 3-2 to every hitter, it becomes really predictable about what you're going to get in the box, but it also becomes on the other side very, very, very stagnant.
Right.
And you're not moving and you're not as engaged and it's hard. There is really no other way to say it.
No doubt, right? And so, but some of these things happen, right? That they made 3 errors in this game. They didn't win the game. That's a big reason why they didn't win the game. But the next day, they rebound and they go and they win a tightly contested game, 8-7, which I think is a huge thing, right? To go through a bad game like that, to be able to overcome losing 7-6, not 8-7. 7-6 is how they won. To get through that, I think is shows a lot, right? And so, big question mark that has been the question that has been posed to a lot of us and people watching LSU is, man, I don't think the pitching is as good as we thought. 1, because injuries have hurt a little bit, and 2, because our 2 starters on the weekend haven't been as consistent. I will agree that our 2 starters have not been that consistent, and I will agree that the injuries have been tough, right? Would you rather the guys not be hurt and have your horses in there? Of course. It's not the reality of baseball all the time. You need to be able to adapt and overcome, and guys need to step up. What I saw this weekend were guys stepping up and taking a hold of a different type of role. Griffin Herring, I know he gave up those runs and he got the loss on Friday. He pitched better than that, those numbers show, right? He had the ability to get out of that inning without having any runs scored. That did not happen, right? So then he gives up some runs, he gets the loss. Bryce Collins has been nails. Jay said it in his interview today. 6 straight outings where he's throwing really well, right? So he's taking that step and saying, okay, we have some guys down. I gotta take the reins. I'm gonna be the guy. He's starting to throw really well. He threw really well on Saturday. It was a big reason why we won that game on Saturday. Obviously, Gavin Guidry has thrown really well. He's going to be put in some higher leverage situations. His breaking ball is nasty. So you're starting to see some of these guys. Ackenhausen's coming back here soon. You're going to start seeing some of these guys step up, and that's what I was impressed to see throughout the course of the weekend.
So I'll just say it like this. Baseball it's a beautiful game. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if I had to take the last I don't know, maybe 10 games or so. Let's just say Dylan Cruz's season started the way his last 10-ish games have gone. What do you think would be the tune of what everyone would be saying after those 10 games? Man, I don't know if this guy's a 1-1 pick. I don't know if he's as great as we think he is, all right? You're crazy if you thought that team was going to have a sub-2 out of the pen and as a staff all year. It's not real.
No.
You're crazy if you thought injuries wouldn't happen somewhere. Now, some of them have been more serious than others, right? Some of these other guys they do have an opportunity to come back. But now you're seeing, guys getting thrust into positions that they were not necessarily supposed to be in at this point, and they're having to learn on the fly. You're seeing the depth of both the pitching staff and on the other side be tested a little bit. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, if this team was hitting on all cylinders and you saw them reaching their peak right now, if you know baseball and you know it's just as much as you love to, it's not sustainable.
No.
You won't carry hitting on all cylinders right now before we reach May into the postseason. It just won't happen. I don't care how good your team is, right? So with that being said while they are struggling, while they are running through injuries, while they are getting tested on their depth, you're still watching them beat top 15 teams in series week in and week out.
Listen, Kentucky was the number 1 RPI team in the country. You took 2 out of 3 from them. Like, that's a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, that is – meanwhile, you have Florida. They lost to Georgia. I don't know what the actual series outcome was. I think that they won the series, but they lost a game to Georgia. Like, that's a team that you probably should not lose to. So baseball happens, things happen. So LSU's played their first 5 series of the year in SEC play has been all against ranked opponents. So that's a tough schedule. Now you go against teams that aren't ranked. Now they're still good. Ole Miss still has the ability to beat you. You're going to play Alabama, who started the season off ranked. You're going to play Auburn. You're going to play these teams that have the ability to beat you, but they're not as deep and as good as the teams that you played. So I think they're in a pretty good spot. I also think that you mentioned Dylan Cruz. This man has been hitting 500 all year. I think he's still hitting 500. I think he ended the game on Sunday hitting 500 on the dot. And look, I'm not saying he's struggling because he's not.
No, it's not struggling.
He's hitting balls hard. It's just one of those things.
It's just baseball. Like,
right.
So if anybody, like, if you took what I just said wrong, obviously, like, I don't mean that the guy's struggling by any means. Right. But if you literally just had his last 10 game probably sample and that was how you started the year, I guarantee you'd be saying, maybe there might be someone else who could be the number 1.
Right.
This is how baseball goes. If you look back last year in Major League Baseball, go look at Aaron Judge's first month of the season and tell me what he did. Wasn't good.
Right.
It wasn't good at all.
Right.
And then he got hot.
Yeah.
Like that's just baseball, right? You're gonna go through the downs. You're going to get hot. Your hots won't last for as long as your downs, but being a really good player is minimizing the bad and being able to kind of stay in that middling point until you get hot again.
And that was the whole point of bringing it up, right? So Dylan Cruz has started the season off scorching hot. He's going through this 2-week stretch where he's not in a slump because he's hitting balls hard. He's taking his walks. He's doing the things that he needs to do. He's just having some unfortunate luck. Hitting balls hard at guys. Guys are making some good plays. That's baseball. I think he's going through this stretch of the season at the perfect time.
Perfect time.
Because now you're midway through the SEC.
The team as well. But go ahead.
Yep. You're finding ways to win, right? You're going through these types of things. He is still taking his walks. So now whenever he comes out, guys like him, players that are as talented as he is, and players that are as advanced as he is, when they come out of these, I'm not even considering this, when they come out of these stretches of unluckiness, being a little bit unlucky, the back end of that is stupid. Like, to the point where, like, this guy can't get out. This guy's hitting home runs every other at bat. Remember what happened at the beginning of the season when Tommy White was struggling a little bit? All of a sudden, Tommy White gets super hot and gets out of this, got his little slump, and now he can't stop hitting homers and RBIs. I believe that Dylan Cruz, he has 9 homers. I believe Dylan Cruz in 3 weeks is going to have like 16 homers. Like, I believe that he's going to get super, super, super hot, and it's going to be fun. So I think this is a perfect time because you don't want the team peaking at the middle of the season and then coming back down at the end of the season, because the reality of it is baseball is always going to humble you. You're never going to be the greatest thing that was ever told to me in baseball. You're never as good as when you're hot, you're never as good as you think you are, and when you're cold, you're never as bad as you think you are, right? It's perception of what's happening, right? It's how you feel. Oh, I feel good. I'm getting hits. I'm doing these things. I feel like I'm the best player in the world. Oh, I'm not playing well. You go back at the end of the year whenever you're not playing and you go look at all those videos and you go look at the highlights and the lowlights, you're like, damn, I really wasn't that far off both sides. And so my whole point to saying this is baseball is a tough game. It's a long game, and you have to continue to be consistent. So you're going to go through these peaks and valleys. I think that they're going through the valley at the right time of the season. You got anything, or you're just going to keep giggling at your phone over there? I see what you're doing over there.
I'm not giggling at my
giggling,
phone.
you're just smiling.
I'm really trying to screen record this Bear Jones thing, and that's making me giggle.
Why?
Because I don't know if it's going to look good or not, but we have to have the video because I want y'all's breakdown on it, and I want to show it on the screen because as a producer, this is my job. So I'm over here trying to work.
I'm glad you understand
but
that.
I'm laughing at the fact that it may not
That was
work.
his attempt to get the crowd back on his side.
So that's why I'm giggling.
Okay. You don't have anything to say?
About what? LSU baseball? You're talking about hockey?
No hot dogs.
Speaking of hockey is starting the playoffs.
Hey.
I love hockey.
Name a team in the playoffs.
Don't know.
Love hockey.
I love watching it. That doesn't mean I'm a huge fan of it. I'm imagining the Tampa Bay Lightning are in the playoffs.
No, I was super impressed with LSU being able to take 2 of 3, especially whenever it got to where it did, because it felt like I'm of the impression that Skeens and how the Kentucky played the series is going to be a strategy going forward where they don't throw their ace against your ace. Like, you'll probably see that more often than not. They're going to treat it like they're going to treat the first game of the series like a midweek game, wherever you don't get their best punch in terms of, like, if you flipped it around.
You think all these teams are going to do that?
But
I would not be shocked.
Yeah, but here's my thing is that ace didn't do anything. Like, they didn't win because of him.
No.
I would be shocked. I ain't gonna lie. I would be shocked.
But even if they did that, my whole point is like that their ace Kentucky's like strategy of doing that did not help them win. Like the ace didn't do anything to help them win. They won a game 13-10. You know what I mean? So I agree with what you're saying. Like, oh, you saw that Kentucky was able to do some things. Not everybody plays the way Kentucky can play.
Once again,
my point
but
too.
they won.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah, but
I would
not
be
because of that
But
move.
imagine if it was the other way around, when you go against Skeens and you throw your quote unquote ace and you burn him, and you're not putting up 13.
I understand that part, the scoring the runs part, but
Here's
they
the
could have
thing.
thrown their 17th guy out the bullpen and scored 13 runs and still won.
Here's the
You know
thing,
what I mean?
Lloyd. I would imagine that their idea of not throwing their ace against Skeens was for them to have the opportunity to leave here and stealing the series.
Right.
If you only they didn't steal the series, so
Right.
that's
No.
not right.
I'm saying
So
I agree with
what
you.
I'm saying,
I'm
so-
agreeing with the premise before it happened.
So
Like,
what I'm
we're-
saying
Right,
is,
no, I
Wednesday,
I'm not
yeah,
disagreeing with you.
so what I'm
Just-
saying is if you thought going into the weekend that not throwing my ace against their ace was only going to get us one win and we could just escape here with the series loss, then you're not really the team who you thought you were, and you're probably not going to go very far. In the sense of, hey, we came in here as the 12th ranked team in the country. We came in here with the same or better record than them. We're trying to beat them.
Yeah.
So I don't think they came in here saying that we just want to steal one. They knew, I think in their mind, they said, we're going to get one. We need to steal the other one.
Yeah.
Right.
So they didn't do that. So they didn't accomplish what they tried to do, is my point, when they came here. They didn't come here saying, let's lose the series. I promise you they did.
Oh, I know
Okay,
that.
so then there's no right. My point is they came here, they got that one, but they were trying to steal another one, and it didn't happen.
Right.
So their whole plan, like you said,
They're
failed.
giving themselves a 50-50 shot.
I don't know if it's 50-50.
Well,
My point is they failed. My point is what I'm saying is I don't expect teams to keep conceding a game to Paul Skeens saying that hopefully we can steal another one. I
And
think
it's hard to win 2 in a row.
Yes, I think a lot of teams think that whether you want to believe it or not, like I think teams think when you're in a bit of competition, bro, I'm trying to win. My best way to win is I need my guy here because who the hell knows? Just like what happened the other night, like South Carolina, Skeens could be going after 3 innings. Well, all right. So what? Why do we wait? You know what I mean? Like Skeens, I'm not even going to speak into the existence of other reasons as to why he could be exiting after 3 innings. But let's just say outside of weather reasons, he could be going after 3 innings. Why did we not throw our ace tonight?
Yeah.
Like they're not going to keep doing that. Like you saw the same team that basically conceded the first game of the series is the same team that was bunting down 14-5 in the 6th. Every team ain't going to be doing
And
that.
that's my other point, right? You talked about, like you watched, Because I talked to some guys this weekend, like, oh, Kentucky kind of showed some flaws on LSU. Like, they're able to get to Skeens. They hit Skeens. Like, yeah, they had a bunch of singles against Skeens. They found some holes. They hit some balls hard, but they found some holes. I get that. That's their approach. That's what they do. They hit the ball on the ground. They make contact. They don't drive the ball at the ballpark. That's what they do as a team in Kentucky. That's what they were built on. That's what they were doing. That's what they've been preaching. That's what they do well. They executed their game plan to perfection. That's what they do. My response to that, like, oh, that's the blueprint to beat LSU.
Not
One,
every team can do that.
I don't think that. And two, if you're saying that we're going to play Florida and they're going to say, oh, we're going to small ball them to death, LSU wins. Because you're taking Florida out of their game, out of their element. You're not allowing Jack Caglione to hit 2 home runs in a game. Like, they're not. But with that said, Florida's not going to do that. You know what I mean? So the blueprint may be that, but not everybody can play that game.
No,
And
I think Kentucky was just such a wild matchup, especially coming off the South Carolina series where it was a very small field, and that's turned into, okay, it felt like Skeens got touched up, and it's like, well, not really.
you got 2.
He gave up 2,
Like-
and then you take him out the game, and because of the weather and whatever, however they wanted to play that thing. But I'm saying, like, you're going to start seeing different strategies because they're trying to find a way to make Superman bleed.
Absolutely. But my whole thing is if you try to change the way that your team is built and you try to do something that they're not good at doing, it's probably not going to bode well for you.
I'll just say it this way. You got to think of it this way, too. And I'm just being straight up. As the season goes, like, you're not going to keep seeing it. Because I also bring this back to, like, teams where, like, that's what they do, right? They play small ball. And it brings me back to 2008 when UC Irvine came here. And we knew that they were literally playing to get just one run every inning. They could just keep pushing across one run, maybe a couple more. Next thing you know, you'll look up and it's the 4th inning and they're up 6-2. And you're like, how the hell did this happen, right? When I think about teams that do that, they still came down here to win a series. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, if the thought is we can't beat Skeens, well, then we're already giving them 1. So are we sure that we can steal 2 in this other way? Right. Like, this is what I'm not sure you're going to keep seeing teams say, nah, we're just not going to try against him in a way.
But isn't it some of that thought process, if you're the other team, the way that LSU's constructed, because they've had some injuries on the back end in the bullpen and pitching injuries to where you're like, okay, if we can get Skeens out, like, or if we can like concede that game and then get to them in the bullpen, because that's been the biggest question about the LSU baseball team, right? Is that if you can get to the 3rd day and maybe you can touch up Ty Floyd.
Well, if you can,
I think he's pitched well.
Well, let me ask you this: if you can get Skeens out, then what's the reason for taking your ace out against him?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can just get him out the way. Like, all right, we'll take.
So if you can get him out, get him out the way, like get him off the.
Well, and to your point, I get what you're saying, but let me counter this. No team has been able to beat LSU in the SEC 2 games in a row. You know what I mean? So you're saying, okay, we're going to concede this game, and we're going to put all of our eggs in the basket to win 2 in a row, which has not happened all year. That's a hard thing to do.
What do you think's harder, that or beating Paul Skeens?
I think that you have 3 games to win 2 is better than saying, okay, I'm just going to concede this one and try to win 2
in a row. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's your better opportunity.
I think they're just trying to attack the one weakness that it feels like LSU has, right?
Right.
Where
And look,
I've known a lot of dominant starters, and look, I'm not sitting here saying they're all Paul Skeens. That's not the blueprint to beating dominant starters. No. Just to be honest with you.
No, yeah, you can't let
It's
him
really not.
Can't let him throw a bullpen session.
The blueprint to beating dominant starters is exactly, honestly, kind of what South Carolina was doing. Now, look, I get it. They had 8 strikeouts in 3 innings, but they got to them. They had those guys get big hits early. They had a good pitching performance going on the other side of it. Skeens might have very well gone that game and thrown 6 and struck out 13 and given up 4 runs, but maybe we only would have scored 2.
Right.
Get what I'm saying? That's how you beat dominant starters. Not saying, we'll give you the game and we'll throw our starter against the other guy.
Yeah.
Because if you do get to Skeens at some point, then...
Dude, but that's everybody's Friday night guy. If I can get your Friday night guy out of there in 4 innings, I'm into that bullpen.
Yeah.
Now you're struggling.
Right.
You're going to be struggling.
And that
That's
sets you up
everybody.
for the rest of the series.
That's everybody.
That's everybody, though. Like,
That's
it doesn't
everybody.
matter how good your Friday night guy. It's literally everybody.
regardless of what we say. I think the bullpen is going to be fine. Right? I really do. Like,
I think
they
you saw it
don't-
this weekend.
Huh?
I think you saw it this weekend.
Absolutely. I think that they have guys in the bullpen that are going to have to just have a bigger role and step up and be the thing. I think that the biggest key to the team right now are the 2 starters outside of Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
You got to have two guys to be able that you can hang your hat on and say, okay, I'm going to throw you, and you're going to throw 5-6 innings every outing. And as bad as I say bad, he hasn't been bad. As inconsistent as Ty Floyd has been, he at least is trying to gotten you into the 5th every outing, right? Like now, last game, he probably could have gotten through 5, had some things going one way or the other, but he does have to be more consistent. He does have to throw more strikes. He does have to kind of get in the groove a little earlier. And I think he knows that. Thatcher too. Thatcher needs to start figuring his stuff out, and I think Jay talked about it, that he had a conversation with him. Kind of one of those things where you kind of build some confidence with him, give him a little bit of vote of confidence, which from an athlete goes a long way, right? When you feel like you're struggling and you're on an island and you're on the mound or you're in the batter's box and you don't feel like, damn, I am going to get benched or I'm not going to play anymore or this and that, and like that starts to weigh on you, like to have a manager or your head coach say, hey, listen, I believe in you. We're going to figure this thing out. I think that you're going to be a guy for us. We're just going to have to figure out how to make this thing work. But I'm going to be with you along the way. Like, that goes a long way. That happened to me in Tampa. I was struggling my ass off in 2016. And we're in Toronto, and Cash brought me down in the dugout before BP. And he was like, hey, what's your deal? I'm like, what do you mean it was my deal? He goes, why are you acting like you're going to get optioned? I'm like, well, because I've been optioned 8 times in my rookie year, and like I'm struggling. I know I want to play. But he goes, oh, you're here. Like, you're here. We're gonna keep putting you out there. We believe in you, and you're here. I didn't have a great season, but it gave me a lot more confidence. And towards the back end of that season, I started playing well. There's a reason why I didn't play well that year, but that helped. So my point is that conversation that Jay gave Thatcher, I would believe that gives him a little bit of confidence going forward. Like, hey, listen, they believe in me. I'm gonna figure this thing out.
You're 100% right. When it comes to that second and third starter right now, look, we're watching Ty. Ty's going through 3 straight outings where he's had some struggles, right? Like, this is the first one where it's, South Carolina too has been pretty glaring, right? Those two. The first inning of the 3 weeks ago struggled, finished through 6 through a good game, right? He needs to be more consistent. But the thing with Thatcher is Thatcher's got a lot of talent, like a whole lot of talent, like could throw on Friday night guy talent, right? But the key to being a really, really, really good baseball team, especially on Thursday, is I personally think, and I don't know, I haven't even met Thatcher. I personally think that he wants, in a way, to kind of show that he's the guy right now, and he doesn't need to do that. And it's not to say that he can't be or that he isn't, but it's you just need to be able to go throw your game. You're going to get the chance. That's why you're here. Go and throw your game, because I think what they're missing right now is when we get to Sunday, and obviously the struggle that Ty's had is we just need someone out there who's going to throw strikes. Now, if I put Thatcher out there and throw a bullpen, you're not going to say, yeah, he just throws strikes. You can be like, he's got a chance to be dominant.
Yep.
Right? Like legit dominant. If he can just go out there and just be himself and just throw strikes, that gives you so much more of a chance. It is really, really, really tough to keep beating teams and to beat teams 3 days in a row or 2 days in a row, however you want to look at it, or win series or sweep series, when we know we get to Sunday and we just don't know what we're going to get. But if I know you're going to give me a 4.5 ERA, you're going to throw me 90 innings, you're going to give up 100 hits, and you're going to have a 280 batting average against you, but guess what? You may walk 25 people on the year. That's it. But I know you're going to throw strikes. We're good by the time we get to Sunday, because I know that we can outbang whoever they're going to put on the mound, right? Yep. But the thing is Thatcher's got more ability than to just do those numbers.
No doubt.
And if he can just go and be himself, just play, shut out all the outside noise, just play and play your game, I think that's when things take off. And Jay told us early in the year, I said it before we even asked him about it, but he told us straight up, if we're going to go where we need to go, he's going to have to be a huge part of it. You're seeing it right now.
And listen, being a coach, being a part of baseball and being around it, seeing things are seen differently, right? So, like, it's not all about the numbers. It's not all about the stats. It's not all about, this guy went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Like, when a guy's struggling and a guy's trying to get back on track, there's benchmarks that you want to see in a game, right? Like as a hitter, I want to see a guy put some good at-bats together as far as like I want to see him take balls, swing at strikes, battle even when he's not feeling good, maybe have 6, 7, 8 pitch at-bats, put some balls, put some barrels on some balls. And if he strikes out twice, he strikes out twice. But at least I see the fact that he's starting to have better takes, have better swings. You start to see those benchmarks. As a pitcher, there's different benchmarks. Maybe a guy is struggling with his location, or maybe he's a guy struggling with tempo, or whatever he is. You want to be able to see that guy do that. And once you start to see him do that, it only takes one inning, maybe only one pitch. Say, okay, there it is. I don't care that you gave up 5 runs. I don't care that you gave up 3 runs.
Find it.
That is what I want to see. Just do that. And I think once you start doing that, then you start getting the opportunity to do it over and over and over again. I think that helps out a lot. It's just you look at when you guys struggle, you just look at it differently. You know what I mean? It's not all about the results.
Even when you're going good, though, you kind of look at it differently. Like, Dylan's had an unbelievable year. I guarantee you we can go back and
He
handpick.
thinks he's probably struggling.
No. I guarantee you we can go back and find 15 balls that's been hit that if they're 2 steps one way or the other, they're easy outs, right? They've gone for hits this year. 15 to what's been maybe 120 at-bats right now, that's a huge difference in your average.
Right.
And it matters. And it really, really, really matters. Same thing like you said, sometimes some of these guys, you just have, it only takes a pitch. It only takes an inning for us to watch what you're doing and be like, all right, now I can see the intention being different of what you're doing and getting back to where you need to be. And sometimes that's what clicks to make you go.
And the hard part about college baseball is it's just such a sprint, right? Professional baseball is a marathon. You have 142, 162 games if you're in the big leagues to figure it out, right? You can have 3 really bad months, 2 really bad months, an average month, and then 2 unbelievable months, and you're at the end of the season, you're like, damn, this guy had a really good year. That's because the season's so long, right? Like that's just the way. Baseball, college baseball, you don't have as much time to do that. Now, some guys don't figure it out. There's guys that I've played with and against that have been awful in college. Not because they weren't talented, they just couldn't figure it out. They got put in this rut. They only had 56 games. They couldn't really figure it out. In college baseball, it's all about winning, so you have to figure out. Then those guys go to pro ball, kind of different. Take a deep breath, figure it out, and they just cruise on to the big leagues, right? Like that's just the way it happens sometimes. I'm hoping that Thatcher can figure it out. He has the talent to figure it out early, and I think that you're going to start seeing him figure out. Even if he doesn't figure it out until the end of the season, like into the regular season, that's fine. Get you ready for the postseason. That's all that matters. Like you still have to remember, you have 15, or I guess maybe 18 or 19 games left in the regular season.
15 SEC
conference games, and then probably, I guess 4 or 5 midweek games left.
Is that where you expect to see him? Like
midweek?
Yeah.
No. I'm just saying. There's just
to figure it out, like at a figured out point. Like
no.
I mean, he threw on Sunday. He threw on Saturday. Like I think you're gonna see.
I think
him
you could possibly see him because he only threw an inning. Like maybe it's not gonna hurt him.
See him on Tuesday. He's gonna have to be out there and just get reps, and be able to. Hey, listen, I don't care what happens. We're gonna figure out a way to win this game. I just need you to get right. And I think the more he gets put out there, the more confidence he gets, the better he's gonna be.
Don't lose it for us. Like throw.
No, don't. You can't say don't lose it for us. Just go out there and figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't try to be too fine. Like,
we'll figure this. We'll figure the other side out. We got your back.
You gotta trust the offense.
Listen, it's so great that you said the ending of that. Don't be too fine, because sometimes that's what it is. It's the same thing as a hitter too. As you just cut down on the specific stuff you're trying to do, you simplify all your nonsense, and you just go compete. Sometimes that's what it takes for you to get out of your own head, for you to get out of your own way. You just go compete. And that's, sometimes what changes it. Sometimes it gets you back into, this is the field. Okay, this is right. And then you start rolling.
No doubt. No doubt.
And that's why you bring in a guy like Wes Johnson, to somebody that I'm sure they're talking all of the time, to be able to try to figure out, okay, what do you feel comfortable with? Where are we? And I don't know if maybe the wristwatch or whatever.
Coach, I'm going to be honest with you right now. I don't think this is a job for Wes Johnson. I don't even think this is why you bring Wes Johnson in. I think this is a job for Thatcher Hurd. I think this is a job for him in the mirror to go figure it out and to show up with it. Yeah. I think Wes has done.
There's no magic bullet.
A ton.
There's no magic bullet.
There's no amount of film right now. Like they've probably been breaking down film and numbers and all this all year. I personally, at this point, don't think it's a Wes Johnson job. I think this is a Thatcher Hurd take ownership. This is your job.
It's a tin cup Caddyshack type deal.
It's a dump truck job.
I mean, if Thatcher wants to go out, I can figure it out. We can get him loose.
I don't think that's what needs to happen. Maybe not with you. I could get a little dark.
I fixed a
man.
lot of people.
I'm sure you
Hurt a
have.
lot of people.
I'm sure you have fixed a lot of people. I'm sure you've.
I'm saying maybe we just need a little good reset.
Whoa.
Maybe we just need a little, 8 hours. Get your mind right.
Little reset.
Little reset.
Little reset. Maybe so. But that doesn't work for everybody. Yeah, I don't know. He's going to be fine. Thatcher's going to be fine. Christian Little threw better. You know what I mean? Like, Christian still walks some guys. I don't love that. But he's been able to pitch himself out of some trouble lately, which is going to be good. I think that LSU is going to be fine in the bullpen. They're not as dominant as you would have hoped because of the injuries. But you still have guys. Like, Bryce Collins was awesome. Like, awesome. Right? If he can keep throwing that breaking ball, he's there, Paul Bertocini. If he can continue to throw that breaking ball
with better velo.
With better velo. Right? Like, if he can continue to throw that, like, that's a weapon out of the bullpen.
Sorry, Paul.
Right? Yeah, do love you, bro, but you didn't throw 95. Maybe at one point you
Since Midland, baby, I love you.
Yeah. But he had a great breaking ball, just like Bryce Collins has a great breaking ball, right?
Yeah.
Bryce Collins throws hard, right? There's a place for him. He's going to be effective. He's going to be able to do a lot of these things to be able to get outs. Same with Gavin Guidry. Great breaking ball. He's got the competitive nature. He's got the demeanor. Griffin Herring, same type of thing. Ackenhausen, when he was healthy and he's about to come back, hopefully, he's been great. You have, those are, 4 or 5 arms that I just said, plus Little's going to be out the pen. Like, you have guys. That's the beauty of what Jay did. He brought all these guys in. He got a lot of depth.
Now, please don't take this the wrong way because the
he's definitely going to take it
the kid's literally been sitting, 2 to 5 with a wipeout breaking ball. But when we say Gavin Guidry and him as a pitcher right now, what is the first thing that comes to your mind about how he goes about pitching right now?
Athlete.
He competes his nuts off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he
Pitches
is
like a
up
shortstop.
there pitching like a position player.
Yeah,
honestly,
shortstop.
like he has a position
Little
player
League World
mindset
Series.
of me against you. What's up right
Yep.
now? I'm here,
No doubt.
and I do think that's a guy that you can point to as an example to say he's not in his own head. He's not really thinking up there.
He don't know what he don't know.
He knows a little. I mean, he obviously knows something. He has a very good breaking ball. He has a very good heater. Like, he knows something. He's got ability, right? But he is up there competing. Why? Because he saw it as, this is my only opportunity to find the field regularly this year.
Right.
So I'm going to do what I can to help in some sort of way right now. And that is to not slide him at all as a middle infielder. Obviously, the infield and the position player pool has been very, very deep this year, right? And those guys have played very, very well this year. So him not getting a chance to play more there makes sense. We get it. We understand it. But you can tell he's taken a mental approach to saying, I'm going to find a way to get on the field regularly this year, and it's been this. And when he goes out there, it shows in his demeanor. And I do think there is some of that Thatcher needs to adopt and or rekindle, however you want to look at it, and go out there and do that.
No doubt. There's another big topic I want to talk about LSU baseball. Right before we get there, though, I just want to give a shout out to Heineken. I saw some people drinking Heineken at the Fred's, Heineken Silver at the Fred's golf tournament this past weekend. Shout out to Heineken Silver. It's starting to catch on a little bit, right? Heineken Silver, there's 95 calories. It's Heineken's version of their light beer. It is 4% alcohol. It actually tastes really good. Huh?
Nice weather
We got
weekend.
tagged today.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. That's happened a lot.
Yes.
It's great for
He's a drinker.
tailgating. It's great to have outside. The weather's been great. Go sit outside at your front porch, back porch, wherever you're at. If you're at the beach, wherever you're at, pour yourself a little Heineken Silver. 4% alcohol, 95 calories. Very good. Try it. Don't knock it until you try it. I like it. I'm not a huge Heineken beer in general fan, but Heineken Silver, I'm on board with. So give it a shot. That's my
Plug for the day.
plug for the day. Okay. Like how I just mix that in there.
That's great.
That's pretty
You
good.
get a little, what you call a...
Well, I just know we don't like a lot of commercials, so I was like, I'm going to,
work at a live read.
that's it. All right. So the other part of LSU this weekend that I want to talk about that brought a little bit of controversy. We actually had a comment on Twitter responding to our video of that incident by a former Major League umpire. If y'all
I missed
If
this.
y'all didn't see it, he responded. I'm gonna pull it up.
This might be the first time Mikey's ever checked the Mik'd Up Twitter.
No, I check it all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that is also true because there's,
I missed this. I didn't see that.
Did you see it?
No. I'm
All
looking
right,
for
so I gotta
Oh, I
find.
forgot to start the stream.
Yeah, I'll kill you.
Just under 100.
Where is? Okay, here we go. So this guy, I can't find his name.
Angel Hernandez.
No, it's not Angel.
James Joyce.
He's not a former.
Jim Joyce. What's his name?
No, it's not Jim Joyce. Damn. Why can't I find it? I can't find it.
Why would you do this to yourself? You really painted yourself in a corner to send it to me earlier.
It was a response to our tweet. But anyway. He responds and basically says that this is a conscious effort from the umpires. They were told before the season started that they needed to do this. They didn't want to have taunting, blah, 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 whatever. I don't think this was taunting. And the play that I don't think it's taunting because of the incident of what happened before, right? Sports in general are very emotional, passionate games. Like when you play in a game and the competition's heated. Don't play yet. Don't play yet.
Oh, okay.
Don't play yet. When you're playing in a game and the competition is heated, things like this happen. Now, I'm gonna give let me frame it before we show the video because you're not gonna really be able to see all of it. So, what happened was our freshman Bear Jones, who's a monster, and I mean, if you're gonna talk shit to him, you better just get ready because that's a tough one. It's a tough one to go after that guy. He's in the box. He's down an 0-2 count, but to get to the 0-2 count, the pitcher on the mound is taking advantage of the pitch clock and quick pitched Bear Jones on pitch number 2. I believe it was 2 pitches, but number 2 was strike 2 was like, hey, in the box. I'm not really paying attention. Like I'm not. I've literally stepped in the box and he's already going through. So by the time he gets ready to swing, he's not ready, right? I personally hated that. It is a strategy that pitchers have been implementing for a long time, right? Some guys go quick, some guys go slow, some guys go up, down, up, go. Like they do a bunch of different things to mess up your timing. The quick pitch by far to me is the worst, and I think it's the most bush because there's a lot of times there's been times where I've been in the box and I haven't even looked up and the ball is going by me, right? And I think that's dumb. And so when that's happened to me in the past, like I have had similar reactions to what Jared Jones has. So I want you to play the video. I just want to frame that.
Before you play it too, just understand that when there's hitting in baseball, it's kind of like a fight. Like I look at you, you look at me, and it's you want to go, let's go, right? So when you decide to basically throw the punch before I even look up because we never said let's go yet, it's kind of bush. That means you didn't really want this fight, right? And that's kind of the premise of what happened in this situation.
And if the roles were reversed and one of our pitchers quick pitched them and they did this, I have no issue with it.
Yeah. This is something I've always took. I've never liked guys doing this.
This is going to be the whole
Now,
thing.
this was not as bad.
That's the first one.
Now, understand, like, these loops are pretty much simultaneous, right? So he's getting in the box. He's looking up. This guy's already rocking. He hardly even – I don't even think he had 2 hands on the bat.
Yeah,
already.
you can't see when he started, right? So, like –
The camera can't even get there yet.
Right, like –
and now he wants to slow pitch you.
Yeah, but that's whatever. So, like, he gets in the box. He's ready. And he hits a homer. And, it's a big homer. It's his second one of the game. And his emotions it takes the lead in the bottom of the third. In the bottom of the 6th. Like, that gives LSU the lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a big homer. After a situation like that, in a moment where, all right, this is getting towards like the nut cutting time of the game, like that's just something that happens. I have no problem with that. I don't think that he was showboating. I don't think that he was I don't think that he was doing it to like say, hey.
It wasn't just because he hit it hard.
No, exactly.
It wasn't that at all. There was something there before, and people don't understand
No
what
doubt.
happened right before.
No doubt.
There isn't. You would be hard pressed to find hitters who don't, who appreciate
Wouldn't take that personally.
Yeah, who appreciate you quick pitching them like that. Sooner or later, you can be like, all right, bro, that's what we're doing. We're gonna keep doing this because when guys do that, if it's not controlled, usually, especially as you kind of grow and you kind of keep going in pro ball, guys keep trying to take advantage of that quote unquote rule, quote unquote unwritten rule. Now, I get it. The first thing a lot of people like to say is like, oh, baseball, these unwritten rules. Okay, that's fine, but you do realize how big the actual box is. The rule is once 2 feet are in the box, you should be able to pitch. So by rule, there's a lot of times you'd be able to quick pitch, and that's not how this thing kind of
Look how
goes.
quickly he goes.
So, like, you have to understand
Look,
that
you saw
there
him.
is
He looked back after he swung at it.
this part of it. There is a very, very, very fair unwritten part about it.
No doubt. And look, this happens a lot.
And like you said, once we say, hey, all right, let's go. If you want to hold, if you want to go quick from there, doesn't matter because that is literally your job as a pitcher now. It is to disrupt my timing and to throw different stuff, right? But you doing it before we say let's go, that's
right.
Bush.
Right. And so
It's the Floyd Mayweather in the boxing ring whenever he daps up and hits him right in the face. Like
No, it's
he
literally
takes-
like when you watch boxing ring or you watch UFC and there's a referee in the middle, and if one guy starts creeping too close, he tells him back up before they say let's go. Right? It's the same thing. We're looking at you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. That's what it is.
I have no problem with what he did. Now, if he hit the home run with nothing that happened before and did that, I'd have an issue with it. I'm like, okay, now you're throwing in his face, you're asking for it. But if there was a reason, if there was something that had gone on before, there was history to make this happen, I'm okay with it.
And I'll say this too. Here's the best part about it. I don't have any problem with what he did. And if you watch the entire video, he does his little deal. He runs the bases. He touches home plate. And he never, ever even looks back at the pitcher. He told him what he had to tell him, and he kept going.
Yep.
I love that.
That's it. And the pitcher reacted fine.
That's
Because he knew what he was doing.
Right.
They all know what they're doing when they do that.
I got.
It's the same thing that happens. You know this too. This happens in baseball as well too. You'll get guys who, when there's a runner on first, you'll get guys who never come to a stop.
Yep.
And then they'll just roll through and they'll roll through until you actually call a balk. But if you never balk or you never tell them anything, they'll keep doing it because they know that as a hitter, it's a timing thing. One, he has to come to stop before he can deliver to the plate. So if he's never stopping, I don't actually know when he's delivering. Same thing as when the runner's on. I know I can't run if he's never come to a stop. So I can't get ready to go if he's not stopping, right? But if you're not going to enforce him to stop, then he's going to keep doing it.
Right.
Why wouldn't he? It's an advantage inside the game for him. But it's one of those kind of like little things right there.
So this has happened right here, right? And then you look at the Florida incident, right? Where their pitcher strikes the guy out in a huge situation in the game and gets real hyped and flexed and looks into the dugout, and the umpire throws him out the game because they had warned him already. I don't think that should have happened, right? That's part of the tweet. That was our tweet. We had shown the video and said nobody should ever get thrown out for this, and that's when the umpire responded to that. What he did in my mind, was not showing a guy up. It was a tough moment. What?
No, I totally agree. I can't believe you
Yeah,
got
like it
caught.
was hey, this is a big moment in the game. I just had a big pitch in a big situation. I'm hyped up. I'm going nuts. And then you get tossed because you're putting too much. You're letting the umpire dictate too much in that situation, right? It's his discretion. And, I understand what they're trying to do. I understand they're trying to make sure that the game isn't, gets out of hand or all these types of things. But at some point, you've got to understand that sports are all about passion, and especially in college, because you have these guys it's a lot more passion in college than it is in the professional sports, and you just got to let these guys go. And then obviously Jack Caglione, who's gonna hit 50 homers this year, I feel like. He's got 21
Imagine
already.
if he played for South Carolina.
Huh?
Imagine if he was at South Carolina.
Well, Florida's a pretty easy place to hit homers too.
Pretty good place to hit too.
Did you see his up a homer? It looked like he missed it, and he hit it out. but he hits a grand slam, runs around the bases, arms straight after he gets to home plate and doesn't celebrate because, like, jokingly, like, not trying to show anybody up or do whatever. Like, it's just, you got to let these kids have fun. So, I mean, that's, for me, the whole Bear Jones thing, I don't have any issue with. And it's not because he went to, as it goes to LSU. It's not because I like him. It's because it's just the game. Like, I'd rather the game of baseball be played with energy and passion than just boring old, like, old school, like, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, if you go watch the 70s and the 80s in baseball, there was a lot of showing people up. There was a lot of guys would break double plays up by tackling the second baseman.
And he went to LSU.
Like, guys would run into these guys. Like, get out of here with unwritten rules. It wasn't always no. It just wasn't as seen because the social media wasn't there and the coverage of it wasn't there. But that's always been there, always. That's all I gotta say about that.
I mean, I don't even know what he did. Like, it's so hard to tell what happened, and he's like, he didn't even know he got tossed.
I mean, it's 6-4, bases loaded. That's a big moment in the game.
Lloyd, did you just say you don't even know what he did?
What? I mean,
It's okay to say you disagree with it, but you know what he did.
I mean, he screamed at them. Like, he flexed and screamed, and then.
y'all did steal my curtain call.
Well, you can still be your curtain. That should be a curtain call. That
grab.
great play by that guy.
Oh, the guy with you barehanded it.
Barehanded with
Florida
the glove.
man.
With the glove on the other hand, I'm just gonna barehand it. I'm not even gonna use the glove that I have on my hand.
So
I'm just gonna barehand it.
let me ask you this question too. Like, this is why I don't understand sometimes what umpires will do, right? So you toss the guy for celebrating, but when the hitter who hit the homer basically
Showing you up.
it's cool.
It's all right.
So which one is it,
It's all
right?
I 100% expected him to toss Caglione after
He didn't.
that, too.
But what? Why? Because he didn't.
Because
Yeah, but like he didn't do anything. So you want me to celebrate or not want me to celebrate?
Right.
I know I'm showing you up, quote unquote, because I'm being sarcastic, but I'm also not celebrating. So
Where do you
what's
go
the
with it?
rules?
what do you want? You don't know. I mean, it may look like you know, maybe not. Maybe our coach, maybe O'Sullivan say, hey, no celebrating anymore, and maybe that's why he did it, not to show you up. You know what I mean? So like, I wish you would have thrown him because that would have been a very bad, hypocritical move by him.
And I'll add this last little bit in it when it comes to that too. Today, even more so than when we grew up, all these kids that make it to this level of ball, there's a very, very, very good chance that they all have some sort of history too. Whether it's they played against each other, whether it's they saw each other play, whether it's they all know each other. They got a little bit of history. So there is a chance, like a strong chance, that they have played against each other somewhere. The guy, when he strikes him out in that situation and it becomes a thing. There is a chance that he does know the guy. Right. And that it is something, which at the end of the day is the basis of real competition, right? Like, when we've played this long and I get at you, like, guys talk. It just is what it is. Let the game go. Let these guys play. That's all.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I feel like a reason for this conversation is because what we saw happen with Paul Skeens in Game 1 of this series, I guess, on Thursday. Whenever you saw him kind of bark back at Kentucky, and we're like, did he just get ejected? Because they're trying to take command over the umpires are trying to take command over the game again. And it's like, at what point do we draw the line between Major League Baseball and college baseball and high school baseball and passion? And it's like, this is what makes part of the game great. And I understand some of it is cringe. Like, we talked about that. And there's parts and times where it's like, you don't have to do that in this moment. But this is not one of those.
No, it's not. You know what I'd love to see from now, which at the end of the day may sound a little elementary, I guess, in this game, if you want to kind of keep some of the old school feel in the game with the new school the way it's going.
Let them fight.
There needs to be go ahead and throw out one warning. Like, if it gets out of hand, there needs to be one real, like, legit, I'm warning both sides, tone it down.
Yep.
Tone it down.
No
we
doubt.
can't just throw out the first person when it seems like and it's a big situation because they did this screaming or that screaming. You got one. That's the warning. No more. I don't want to see it anymore.
No doubt.
We talked to Doug Thompson today, and he said kind of the same thing where he's like, it feels, we've kind of had this conversation before, where he's like, it feels like the game is getting too big for the umpires that they have in college baseball, where they are trying to police it, but they're not.
Yeah, but I will say this. One of the guys in college baseball got all the way up to AAA.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't even think it's
You know what
that.
I mean?
I think what it is, truthfully, is I think you ask a lot of them. Not so much it's too big for them. Like there's 3 to 4 guys out there on the crew. There's 3 guys out there on the crew. When you get to the postseason, there's 4 guys. It's not that the game is too big for the actual guys you have out there. You're just asking a whole lot out of them to do. And sooner or later, when you ask that much, the task becomes too big for the human. And I don't care who you are, because like he said, there's guys that's been in AAA. He's done this. These other guys have been places. It's not like this is the mecca of what they've done. They've never done anything more. They're only on game 50 of their umpiring career. They've done this for a while, but you're asking a lot of them to do. It was hard enough when you were just asking balls and strikes and out and safe.
Right.
Now you're asking them to police.
Now the
You're asking them a lot. You're asking a lot. That's all.
No doubt.
You're asking a lot of them.
No doubt.
But that's what that's what I'm worried. That's kind of where I'm wondering where it's coming from. Like, is this an NCAA thing or is this a personal thing?
They probably had a conversation with them and said, "Hey, this is what we need to crack down on." So NCAA came out and said,
"So it's Tennessee's fault."
I mean, Tennessee's fault. Whoever it is, it's just that's what they said, right? Like in 2009, it was LSU's fault for them not saying guys can't come out. Like it was our fault because the whole highlight film was the 2008 team going out to home plate. Like that's just kind of what happened. And so you see it. Okay, we don't want this to happen, and you go do it, and they enforce it, and then you move on. So I think that's what they did, but I just think that it's going a little too much.
Did y'all get do you ever remember getting reprimanded for anything like that? Like when their umpires coming up to Paul or coming up to y'all and being like, y'all can't come out the dugout?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember incidents like that, but I know there was a time where coach had to say, "Hey, listen, don't do that. You can't do that."
I just had to talk.
I can't recall the exact moment, but yeah, it's happened before.
Because it wasn't that big of a deal. I understand. I get both sides of it. I can see where people are trying to police the sport a little bit because it does get out of hand. Like some of the bat flips and some of the stuff, I can see why people get mad. It doesn't bother me at all.
Well, some of them, listen, if you're throwing the bat over the dugout,
right, exactly.
Okay.
And then it trickles down to high school, and all these kids are going to do the exact same thing because that's what they look at. But at the same time, in college, you're playing for, I have no idea if I'm going to play ever again. And these are the best moments of your life. Why would I not try to live it as much as I can?
No doubt.
I've never been under the mindset of, I don't really love the thought process of act like you've done it before. Now look, at the end of the day, I'm not saying it has to be the biggest party you've ever thrown, but you're asked something that's very, very, very hard to do. I want you to enjoy it when you do it. I want you to celebrate it when you do it. I want you to want that feeling again. I want your people around you to want that feeling again. I want the people who watched you to want that feeling again, right? But it all kind of somewhat needs to be in the confines of, I guess, what's right, That's
agree. 100% agree. All right, we're going to take a minute break, come back on the backside of the 7 o'clock hour, and we're going to have Ask Mikie and Mitch. So, I hope you get your questions in. We have some questions from Twitter. Do we have any questions in the chat so far?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Love that. We're going to get back on the back end of this break. 1 minute break. We'll be back watching. You're watching Mik'd Up. Give a shout out to your boy.
Oh. Yes. Little EFCO Solutions?
Nope.
If you want to go to the website, it is EFCO Solutions. Company, EFCO Development.
There we go.
Wherever they specialize in.
This is you.
Groundwork.
Civil construction company.
Civil construction.
They specialize in multifamily construction. They site drainage.
I had
what
the
else?
Questions pulled up, so now I have to go to the
earthworks, site clearing, house pads, ponds, demo work, hurricane cleanup. Anything that you need to do, get the land ready before you start building vertically, they do. Call Tyler today at 318-229-5585. The number is 318-229-5585. They're unbelievable people. They do a really good job. Give the guys a call.
Going to see them tomorrow.
There you go.
So we might film a little promo.
There you go. You should.
We should.
You should.
I don't think I'm going to dig up any earthwork.
You don't need to.
Or earthworms.
Earthworms.
How did you know that I was going to say that?
Because you always say that.
Oh. I do a lot of, now I'm back on doing a bunch of shows. I just talk a lot.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
All right, we'll be back in 1 minute. You're watching Mik'd Up.
Actually, you know what?
Let's go. Ask Mikie Mitch right now is brought to you by our friends at FCO Development.
Okay.
There we go. Let's give them a shout out, right? I didn't give the read to it. FCO Development's a civil construction. You go ahead and read it.
I'm putting together the Ask
Okay.
Mikie Mitch.
FCO Development is a civil construction company that specializes in new multi-family construction. They specialize in site drainage, site utilities, earthworks, site clearing, house pads, ponds, demo work, hurricane cleanup. So basically anything that is moving dirt, getting a site ready to be built on vertically, has nothing to do with mathematics. Like Lloyd tried to say on Monday, he said he wasn't very sure. He didn't know what was happening with, he's not good at math. But
I'm not good at math.
yeah, but math you don't need math. I'm sure maybe there's some sort of thing, but
Well, if Tyler works there,
you're not doing any equations or anything like that.
Quadratic formula.
Yeah, you're not doing the Pythagorean theorem or
Oh,
anything
nice.
like that. And if you're interested, right, these guys are based out of Lafayette. They do a lot of work. They are very experienced in the industry. They've been doing it for their entire lives. And if you're interested and need any help or you want somebody to do a project for you, call Tyler today at 318-229-5585. Again, the number is 318-229-5585. They are based out of Lafayette, but they will travel. They will come to you, and they're very good people. Dozy Place is located on 3723 Government Street. Everybody knows about their world famous steaks and their hot tamales, but what you may not know is that they're open for lunch every day from 11 to 2. Great people, great environment. Their lunch menu is fire. What's the best thing on the menu?
If you haven't tried it yet, you need to try the burger. Unbelievable, best burger in town.
Best burger in town. If you're looking for lunch, 11 to 2 at Dozy Place. Again, they're located on 3723 Government Street. Give them a shot. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. We are ready for Ask Mikie Mitch, which is brought to you by FCO Development.
Oh,
That's why I did the commercial. That's why I did the live read.
double shout.
Double shout out. All right, let's get to it. Are we going to go... How are we doing this? You're going to go Twitter first? Or you going...
I'm going to go Twitter first because I'm trying to pull up the ones from... You got mad at me for not paying attention. So I'm going to try to grab them from YouTube. But Twitter first, which are already in the document. Shout out Jackie. Where are they? They're in here.
I see. I'm watching. I'm looking at... Want me to read it? I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Let me go. All right, first question is, did Paul Maneri make you guys touch second base every time you rounded first on flyouts? Something random I noticed his teams always did. May have started after you and Jared's time. Just curious. That is from Zach on Twitter. He did want us to do that. Now it was.
I'm confused by the question.
So like when you hit a fly ball out, that's gonna be an out.
Oh, you had to run it
Did
out.
he make you touch second base? It wasn't that you had to go and all the way 2 seconds to touch it. He just wanted you hustling through. He didn't want you, big league in a fly ball just in case it got dropped. If the ball is high enough and deep enough and you can get to second, that's one thing. But just after the ball is caught and being thrown in and still running, like we didn't really have to do that. He just wanted to see you run out the box.
Okay, so I understand the question now. All right, I'll put it to you basically like this. If you are going to hit a pop-up fly ball and you are actually hustling, there's no way in hell you shouldn't at least be halfway up the first base line by the time the ball is caught, which in turn means that I'm guessing you're not going to run a receiver comeback route and stop in 3 steps and come back. So you probably should be getting to second base.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, it was more about him making sure that we got out the box.
Yeah. If you were hustling, you were going to be able to run and be able to touch second base. If you weren't anywhere close, we know you weren't really running.
Yep. Do you want to stay with the Twitter questions?
Yeah, keep going. I'm mad at McHugh.
All right. So next question is, could you hit a 6-pointer in cricket? And this is from Tater Tots and Tigers on Instagram. I don't know what a 6-pointer in cricket is.
Tater Tots and Tigers is one of our guys, though.
I know, but what is?
Well, I'm gonna need him to ask me a question that I can
answer
answer because I have zero clue what that is.
6-pointer in cricket.
Wait, before you look it up, what do you think it is? We all know what cricket is.
Homer
That
in the stands. I don't know.
I guess it's over that line. Isn't there like a line that you have to hit? I don't know.
There's a couple lines. I just don't know which one you're supposed to hit it over or to or
Speaking of El Chapo.
at. Speaking of
Yeah, see? In cricket, the boundary is the perimeter of the playing field. It is also the term given to a scoring shot where the ball is hit to or beyond that perimeter, which generally earns 4 or 6 runs for the batting team.
Yeah, I can hit one of them then. Yeah, I'm on that.
How
Yeah.
big is a
One.
cricket field?
I don't know. It's like 360 though. You can
I
hit
can
it
give me
behind
one.
you.
Hey, I can give me one of them. Yeah, I got that. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
Just gotta get it on the short hop
yeah.
I would love to. Well, we're obviously never going to play
with
cricket,
the flat bat. It's tough.
It is.
but I would love to see y'all too as a pickleball crew. That might be deadly. This is the
Pickleball's-
new sport of the
pickleball's-
future.
You act like it's a baseball thing. Pickleball's more.
Pickleball's tough. It's a little finesse.
I
It's a
feel
little
like
bit.
y'all got some pretty good hand eye.
No.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
but-
about that. But if like I'm just saying, like if you play against somebody that's a tennis player,
Yeah,
like
it's, I've
he's gonna
done it.
smack you.
I've done it.
Yeah, I know. It's my point. But like
Yeah.
he's saying it
Oh,
as
yeah.
if he's saying as if like you could just pick it up and be like the best at it.
The
like, no.
backhands are tough.
Yeah.
Like you have to have a finisher. You have to have like a.
I played it with like when I'm not bad
Yeah,
at it, but
right.
like no, I'm not. If I play against a tennis player, like
I want to play it more though.
It's not gonna be a good day for me.
I'd like to play once.
But I go at him.
Cricket or pickle?
Pickleball.
Pickleball. I mean, I know the game. I don't know how to play cricket.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, like if they just roll one at you, like it's basically baseball.
Pickleball.
They ain't rolling it at you, coach. Have you not seen these guys throw?
Oh, I know, but that's how fast do you think they're throwing?
I don't know, but it's skipping and it's hopping. It's tough.
That thing's hard too. Like
mean,
harder than a baseball.
Yeah, it's skipping.
But
It's
then-
a
but
flat
then-
bat.
But I don't think there's ever been anybody hit by a cricket.
Why do you think they wear shin guards, me?
I'm sure they do.
While they're
There's
hitting.
someone hit by
You
it.
think they wear shin guards while they're hitting just for the fun of it?
I feel like it might hop and get you in the jaw, but they're not taking one to the ribs.
Maybe.
Coach, if they're wearing shin guards, I'm sure there's some point somebody else has got hit somewhere.
No doubt.
So cricket players are soft.
No.
Next question, man. Hey, look at what Lloyd.
All right, next question on Twitter before we go to.
I got him.
Before we go to you got the last one. The
No,
Murray
no,
on
I
the-
got
on
the
doc?
I got the cue.
From the doc. You want to read the last question from the doc before
No,
you get
I'm
that?
talking about from YouTube.
All right, I'm sure there's only one more question in the doc, and then you can
Yeah,
go
knock
from
that
that.
one out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying? Because I don't think that's what you're saying. That's what I was asking. All right.
Cricket players are soft.
This question. I thought I understood how wins and losses are attributed to pitchers. After Skeens got the loss for the first South Carolina game, I'm questioning my understanding. Can you please explain how that works? From Ginger Snapped on Twitter. You want to go?
Yeah, so if I'm understanding it correct, which I'm pretty sure I am, if you are the starter and you either don't, well, not either. If you leave the game with not having the lead, unless the lead change happens, you get accredited for the loss. Same thing goes if you come in as a reliever and you give up a couple runs and the lead changes to where you are now down when you're on the mound. Doesn't matter if 6 more guys throw. If you never take the lead again, you get the loss.
Here's an example. If Paul Skeens throws one batter, and that batter gets on base, let's say he gets a single. Monsoon happens. He gets rained out. He gets taken out the game. Thrown one batter, not had one out. The next guy hits a double. That guy scores. They lose 1-0. Paul Skeens gets the loss because that run is his guy on base.
Or
right?
Even the same thing happens and they lose 8-0.
Right, 8-0. If they don't tie the game ever, then he has the loss.
Yep.
Now, if Paul Skeens goes 7 innings, gives up 1 run, LSU's got, let's say he comes out in the top of the 7th inning. Let's say he throws the 8th, top of the 8th inning, and LSU is up 2-1 when he comes out the game, right? LSU, they give up a run, they tie the game, and LSU wins it the next inning. He does not get the win. He gets a no decision, right? So it's based off of
what you're responsible for.
Right. Ty Floyd came out the game with 4 2/3. Those guys on base were his responsibility. If the guy comes in and gets out the inning without them scoring, those runs are not his, and the win goes. And let's say it's 5. You have to throw 5 innings really to get the win, right? So that's the other difference.
Yeah.
So you can't just throw 2 innings to start the game, throw 2 innings and get the win. You have to throw 5 to be credited with the win. And so that's it. You just have the runs that you're responsible for, the guys you put on base, and if the game is ever tied or you go down, you don't get the win.
It's kind of, just to go a little deeper in the baseball for you, So I've always, for a long time, before like baseball got really into the OPS mindset, I've always been like, I don't understand it. If you can slug and you can get on base, that's better than just a guy who hits 350 but doesn't slug. Right? I've always thought that. Same thing I think about with pitchers is I don't understand why they don't make the stat for pitching, for relief pitchers, opponents' runs given up. Right, the opponent's ERA, I guess.
No, they do, but it's not.
It's not prevalent. It's it's not something they put up there again, right? Because you can have a guy who's got a 2.3 on the year, but gives up everybody else's runs.
Cashes in everybody's runs.
And he doesn't get serious until it's his runs on the mound. Like those things matter in baseball. So it's that's another thing that kind of goes into.
No doubt. Okay, now go to the YouTube.
All right.
Just like OPS has always been a thing, but it never got super mainstream until super recent.
Mm-hmm.
Ask him them. How many number of wins does LSU need? Sorry, it's too long for me to put it on the screen because it cuts off. Ask him how many number of wins does LSU need to win in the final 15 SEC games to win the SEC? What's the target number?
Oof, good question.
Okay, so
they are 9-5 right now.
Yeah, 9-5. Problem is that let an extra game. Let's say they're 9-5. So I would say out of 15. I would say if they go 10-5 and they go 19-10, they have a chance to win They have a good chance to win the West, because that would be if they were going 20-10.
Right. Did he say to win the West or just the SEC period?
SEC.
Okay, so I would go.
Well, what are the standings?
As much as it sucks because of where some of these other teams are right now, I think Vanderbilt has maybe 2 or 3 losses in the league, something like that. I would think. Because of where some of these other teams are, I think they need 11 or 12 over the next 15. I think they got to go 11-4, 12-3 to get into the spot with 20 or 21 wins of winning this league.
All right, here we go. So you have Vandy is 13-2 in conference. Florida's 11-4. South Carolina's 10-4. Kentucky's 10-5. Right, and then in the West. Arkansas is 11-4.
See, think
LSU is 9-5.
And here's why I say that, because think about Vandy. Vandy's sitting there at 13-2 right now. 15 games left. If they went 7-8, they're 20-10.
Yeah.
You really think they're going to have a losing record the back half of the SEC?
Right.
I don't.
Right.
So
I don't know their
how
schedule.
do you beat them? You know.
Let's see who they got. So Vandy's got Tennessee at Tennessee this weekend. Kentucky goes to Vandy. Then Vandy goes to Alabama. Let's see. And then at Florida, Arkansas. So they have the hard
4 of the 5 series.
Yeah.
100%. I get it. But it's just, like I said, if they're who we think they are, if they're as good as they think they are, to go 7-8 in the back half of SEC, they're not.
Tennessee's in a must-win situation.
Pretty much, yeah, here on out.
How does Tennessee get playing on ESPN? They're playing Vandy. They're on ESPN2. They're on SEC Network on Friday, and then ESPN2 on Saturday and Sunday.
And LSU's on the SEC Network Plus, where you can't find it with a flashlight.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm with you. I think LSU needs to win.
I'm gonna be honest with you right now.
12-3.
That's why I said 11-4, 12-3.
12-3.
And I'm gonna be honest with you right now. Like, truthfully, I think
to win outright.
They need the Vanderbilt and or South Carolina to basically kind of
Isn't that crazy?
tank. And they've played really good.
And here's the deal, though. Here's the other deal. LSU only has 5 losses. Vanderbilt only needs to lose 3 more SEC games. Now, LSU's not going to go undefeated the rest of the season.
Right.
That would be great if that happened. But I think if they go 12-3 and they end up 21-8 in SEC play, I think that gives them a legitimate shot.
And is there some merit to what LSU has been kind of going through as being the number 1 team in the country every year, where you get everybody's best shot, like Tennessee did last year, to where every time you go somewhere, it doesn't matter what SEC team it is, they're trying to give you one bullet.
I mean, yeah, of course, but like,
I think everybody's making their push right now.
Yeah, right. Like, they know.
But and my other point would be is that LSU's already gone through the gauntlet. They're about to,
they have. I agree.
But can't let up.
No,
like,
not at all.
sometimes that's a dangerous dangerous thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's going to be a welcome relief.
but that's what you don't want. In my mind, like you don't want to lose
You can't.
that focus
You can't
and
look
mentality.
at exactly. So for them, like you can't look at it like, all right, we're going through the tough part. It's more like a hey. Get your. It's
time to go.
Now it's time to go. It's
Now
like
it's time to go.
it's like in pro ball when you're facing 1 and 2 starters. It's like, hey, stay above water. When we get the 3rd, 4th, and 5th starter, it's time to go.
Yeah, damn, I got one.
I got
for 3.
it. I got to get these.
1 for 3 with a walk and 1 for 4 with a homer against the 1 and 2. Huh.
Oh, about to eat.
Oh,
The
we're
day
going
3 or
now.
4 guys,
Yeah,
I
we're
got to
going
get
now.
you.
Yeah.
These are my
No
average
doubt.
guys.
No
Yeah,
doubt. No
that's
doubt.
that's kind of how you got to go for it.
Because, I mean, that's just what it – because it feels like LSU's kind of – I mean, I know they've been ranked number 1 in the country for
The whole year.
all year, but it still feels like Dan Canterbury said this last night on Hold the Rope, where he said that if they started the SEC tournament yesterday,
They'd be the 4th seed.
6th seed. So I don't know if it's been updated since then. That's what I'm saying.
I said it yesterday, not
Today, so I don't
not
know what
after the
happened.
games. Yeah.
So, I mean, but either way, they're the number 1 team in the country, and they wouldn't be number 1 in their own conference.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Which is
as
wild.
I do think that's right though. It's crazy, but I do think that tells you exactly what everyone's thought of, what everyone thinks of LSU, and honestly what they've thought of the schedule that they've played so far when it comes to ranking teams week in and week out.
And I
Right.
think some of it has to do with the weather. Like if you can't finish series,
Well, I mean, they get one more win, it doesn't push them to the top. So at the end of the day, like that doesn't matter to me.
Remember how bad A&M started the season in the SEC? They're 7-8 now.
It just
They're
look,
making their little
I've seen crazier things happen. Like I'm sitting here thinking about what they would need to do to win the conference right now, and what you would need other teams to do. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, that 2008 team literally won 4. They swept 4 straight weekends in a row.
Yeah, y'all did.
4 straight weekends in a row.
It's crazy.
So you're sitting here at this point, or one more week through it, and you got what? They had 8 wins at that point. 4 straight weekends in
how
a
many
row.
did y'all rattle off in a row?
We had
23.
23. The record, national record.
Yeah.
In 2011,
Gold jerseys every game.
in 2011, we were young. We had to do the similar stuff. Like we had to do it to make it. We ended up being the 9th team in the SEC.
We were sitting there at 11th place before in the SEC.
Might not make
before.
the SEC tournament.
No. Like if the season ended, that you don't make it. Like 11th place in the SEC, and you had to. We was like, yeah, I mean, it's true story. I legit went to Les Miles at that point and was like, hey, coach, I don't really.
I think baseball's done.
No. I don't think we're going to make it to the postseason. Can I go and play in the Cape, and then I can come back for football workouts on a certain date? He said, yeah, I'll give you this date. Just so happens that we ended up playing long enough to where I only had like 6 days left. So I'm thinking season's going to be over like at the end of like there's no way. Look, we can play really well. We can kind of get back into it. It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Right? 4 straight, 23 straight, 4 straight weekends, 23 straight. Next thing you know, my time to go in the Cape was not there anymore. So like it's crazy to think that it was like God.
It can happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
2011
seen crazier things happen.
2011, we had to finish. We had 4 series left in the season. We were not doing very well. Like we should have been better than we were, but we're just young. So that's 12 SEC games. I think that we went 11-12. 11-1 in those games. We swept Kentucky, swept Tennessee, and we needed to sweep Mississippi State. We lost the series to Alabama. We needed to sweep all 3 to end the season, to even like make it into the last.
Right.
And we lost 1 game to Mississippi State. We got walked off.
Yeah.
That was it. We won 2 out of 3, but we swept 2 out of 3. It was crazy.
It's
happens.
funny. It's funny to me too because it's like, all right, look, I know what they can do. Like they went on a 10-11 game winning streak earlier this year, right? Like that, it can happen, and I do see them being able to possibly do that again. And it's not like unheard of, but they're going to need other teams because of what they've done already to kind of fall back a little bit.
Now here, look.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing there is.
Here's what you got the rest of the year. This week you got Ole Miss. Now you're going on the road. Ole Miss did what they did last year. but they're 3-12 in conference play. Then you got Alabama,
They've never done that before.
who's 6-9 in conference play. Mississippi State, who's 5-10 in conference play. Auburn, who's 5-10 in conference play, and Georgia, who's 4-11 in conference play. Not saying you're going to win all of those games, because it's baseball, but that is compared to Arkansas, who you started the conference play with, which you won 2 out of 3, who's 11-4. A&M, who's 7-8, still losing record, but they're on the upswing, right?
They've won the last 3
Tennessee's
series.
struggling, but they were good. They're good. Obviously, they're 5-10. They're struggling. Kentucky's 10-5. South Carolina's 10-4. Like, you've played the guys. You're not going to play Vandy. You're not going to play Florida, which you get a break there. But they're all going to play each other.
Might see them later.
For sure.
It's just it's the thought process of if you're going to tell me these are the teams we need to beat to be able to be in contention to win the SEC, I'd take that schedule over what Vandy has on the second half of the season.
No doubt. All right, next question.
Next question. From Robert Playsongs. Ask him and him. If you were the Pirates GM, who would you pick between Dylan Cruz or Paul Skeens?
I mean, that's a tough.
I mean, it's not a bad decision.
You can't go wrong either way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just a preference. I think that.
I see Dylan Cruz in the Pirates uniform.
I think that if the Pirates think that they're ready to win with the guys they got, I've talked about this before, I think that they go Paul Skeens because that's the number one guy you put in the rotation. He's going to be up there in a year, right? Dylan Cruz, I get it. He's going to play every day. He's going to be up there in a year, and he's a position player, so you get to use him more. I understand that part of it. So if you're not sure that you're quite ready, you don't think that you have enough pieces in place, then you take Dylan Cruz and you go get a free agent pitcher. But they've proven that they don't like to spend money in free agency. Can't go any wrong.
And that's the most high-priced position in free agency.
Can't go wrong. I think they're going to take Dylan Cruz.
I think they're going to take Dylan Cruz too because I don't think that they think that they are ready and or able to go and grab the top 2 or 3 players or whatever you want to call it that'll be free agency ready, which means they'll be ready. You know, like they have some good young players. Adding a guy like this will help them, but I'm not sure that they're so they either can and or want to spend the money that they will need to spend to be able to go grab some top free agencies as well. So I think they take the guy who's going to play every day over the guy who would pitch every 5th day and or out of the pen early on in his career, if you want to call it that.
Do you think if they draft Cruz, do you think they keep McCutchen around just to give him some sort of this is how you do it here?
McCutchen's on a 1-year deal, so
I know that's what I'm saying. Do you think they re-sign him if they draft
I
Cruz?
think a lot of what because of McCutchen's price tag, I think a lot of him even being in a conversation of re-signing is going to do with what he does on the field.
Yeah,
more so than what they can.
This
he
could
can
be
give
his
to.
last year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I think. This is a swan song. This is a send you out the right way because you did so much for the Pirates
in a different role, maybe outside of a player. Maybe who knows?
And if you were obviously number 1, number 2 pick aren't always in the situation, but I would say that you've seen people draft a pitcher and then call them up immediately to be able to contribute in the playoffs. I don't think the Pirates can be in that situation, but that would be the only thing that would sway me.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Next one up.
Next one.
I have to get to the queue, sorry. Ask him up. Does Bear Jones have the most beautiful swing you've ever seen in LSU baseball history? Personally, it's the cleanest I've ever seen in person by an LSU hitter. I don't have to read these out loud because now y'all can see them.
Okay, yeah. Can I?
Well, everybody's watching.
So I'm just gonna start. I'm literally just gonna say this one thing. I'm not gonna go too far with this. I'm gonna stay in one spot. He does play on the same team as Dylan Cruz, right?
Mm-hmm.
That swing's not beautiful.
Beautiful.
We haven't seen Dylan literally just play pepper with the right field stands over and over and over again.
Beautiful. I think
And Bear swing is great. Great. It's very, very, very good for a young kid. My personal opinion, no.
I agree that no. Beautiful. I mean, great swing. And he's have a ton of production. He's hitting 370 with 11 as a freshman. Like,
Yeah.
can't deny what he's doing. But I mean, been some. I mean, Todd Walker had a beautiful swing.
I mean, I can go down the
Cruz
line.
has
Yeah,
a
like
beautiful
I can
swing.
go.
Like,
It's.
there's a lot of guys. That Matt
I
Clark had a beautiful
personally
swing.
didn't
You
go.
had a beautiful swing.
I personally didn't go in anyone else because I don't want to have anyone feeling left
right.
out. So I'm just gonna go with the own team. Who?
Yep.
Yes, I'm gonna keep it at that.
Yep. I look great swing.
And that's no slight to him. I tell him
Like
that.
And look, there's a lot of.
I think he
there's
would
a
tell
rich
you.
tradition at LSU.
I think he would tell you that he's like literally studying Dylan to try to find out a little better stuff that he could do with the
doubt.
swing. So
No doubt.
there you go.
All right, next one up. Paul Zarang. Asking him, what changes would you make to the rotation for games 2 and 3 through the rest of SEC play?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't make any changes.
I would make one.
I mean, I'd keep what are you gonna
Yeah, I know. The only one I would make is I'd tell, hey Thatcher, you're getting back in there, and it's sink or swim, bro.
Yeah.
We need you.
Yeah.
Like we absolutely need you.
Yep.
I think Jay's doing what he has to do right now to try to find some kind of a spark and try to light a fire, whether it's under Thatcher or someone else. But I do think if you want this team to go where it can go, that guy's got to be a regular weekend starter for him.
Agreed. I mean, I got nothing else to say. That agreed.
Okay, next one up, Will Fortenberry. Asking him, does this past weekend show that LSU needs Dugas in the lineup? Well, obviously still hit well, but Merrifield and DePaul may not be the same amount of offense as LSU.
Of course, obviously, like as far as production from the second base position, yes. Like you're not going to get that production from any other second baseman on the roster right now. As far as LSU needing Dugas in the lineup to win games, I don't think that is like, oh, if he's not in the lineup, we're going to lose. But that's not a discredit to him. That's more of a credit to the depth of LSU and how good they are offensively. I think that they are at their best with him in the lineup, in that leadoff spot, doing what he does. So, yes, I think that LSU needs him to be able to be that team that is dangerous. But I think that they can get by. Luckily, his injury's not serious. They can get by without him for right now. As far as second base production, there's no comparison. There's nobody on the team that produces like he does at that position.
Yeah, I think they have enough to get by, but I think if this team wants to be at their best, outside of just the production that Dugas brings, the leadership and the glue that he brings as well, I think is huge on this team, and he needs to be in the lineup. And I think he knows that, and I think Jay knows that, and I think they all know that. He is a big part. He is a big part of the heart of that team and a big part of what they do. And I think he definitely needs to be in the lineup.
Agreed.
And this is just me asking, is there any world where you see Skeens if these injuries keep piling up in the lineup? No? Because, I mean, no fault to Ben DePaul. Like, he's a phenomenal defender, but the offense isn't there. If you start getting into the thick of it and Dugas can't get back.
You have enough depth.
Well, let me ask you this question. Are you literally just posing a question just to ask it, or are you asking it without thinking of the other side of it yet? Seriously, I'm just questioning.
I mean, I'm looking at what's happening in Florida. I just don't. I'm just wondering if there's been a conversation between Jay and Paul, and Paul wants to hit. Gavin Guidry said he came on the show and said he wants to hit, and they're not doing it. And whenever you see like the offensive, maybe they're putting up plenty of runs, but whenever you see the lack of production at some points, would you not consider it?
What do you think, Mikey? What's your thought to it?
No.
If he's as good as people say he is, like I haven't seen it.
No, I don't think you need him in the lineup to do that. I think that's too much of a risk for the reward no.
The reason why I pose this to you is because you're talking about Jack Caglione, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm talking about it's not that big. I feel like the risk isn't as much as it's been weighed out to be.
You want me to read you Jack Caglione's numbers on the mound this year?
Sure.
9 games started, 9 appearances, 38 innings pitched, 25 hits, 29 walks, 43 strikeouts. He's got a 4.74.
So it robs Paul of that. I mean, how many strikeouts does
So,
Skeens have?
so if this is what you were going to get as a Friday night guy, do you want him hitting? If this was going to be somewhere near your Friday night numbers, do you think you need him in
a lot of walks.
hit, or do you think you need him to just focus on the mound?
What about?
I get it, Jack.
What
Throw.
about Saturday
I'm not
and
saying
Sunday?
Jack's bad. I'm saying I get it. He throws 98. He can hit a ball 900 miles, but the production numbers are not there.
The only reason I bring it up is because of the injuries and the amount of attrition that LSU's had on. At some point, like
But
you
what-
have
but
got
yeah, but
what
okay,
injuries
but my
offensively?
point is
what
my-
injuries offensively? That's how to do go.
Dugas clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Kling wasn't in the lineup every single day.
Where is he going to play every day, and who's going to move
I
around?
was gonna DH him.
Why? So then who's out the lineup? So then now you're pushing Kate out.
You're sitting 400.
So you're taking away real production to do what? Because Kate can't play second base.
That's the thing. It's like he's
No,
not
but
Bear
gonna
can't play second base.
No,
Trey Morgan can't play second base. So if you're going to put him in at the DH spot, who's coming out?
That's the big thing. It's
That's
like
the question.
if he could play second, then
If
that's
you're
okay,
going to
but
put
then-
him
no,
at-
you're not putting him in the field.
Exactly.
Ever.
Okay.
So
then
the only
that's my
the
point.
only question mark you have offensively right now is who's going to play second base.
Right.
That's it, and it's going to be Gavin Dugas because I would imagine he's going to be back this weekend. If I had to guess,
That was just my bigger point, as if it's
but no, I don't think that.
if Dugas is not able to get right, because we don't know what the
Well,
injury is.
still, if Dugas can't get right for me, he's still not
that
an
does
option.
nothing. That does nothing for
Because
Skeens.
who are you going to put? Who are you taking out?
Because that means you're still going to have either Merrifield or Napolt in at second, but then you're going to take out another guy who has been productive offensively to put another guy in who hasn't hit all year.
I'm just wondering how good he is because I haven't seen.
Yeah,
it.
but he hasn't
No, I
hit.
get it, but my
Yeah.
point is where does he go?
Right? No, I get it. I was just asking.
That's why he's not hitting. That's why he hasn't been hitting all year, because where does he go? Where do we need him at right now that he can play? Maybe at the beginning of the year before you thought you were getting what you were getting, where you'd be like, oh, man, I don't know if we'll get this out of the DH. I don't know if Barrett Jones will play this way. I don't know if Cade will play this way. Maybe at the beginning of the year you can say, maybe. Right now, where?
And we're out of asking him questions, so that's why I
Is that-
kind of stretched it.
Is it really? That's
Yeah.
fine. That's good. No, I mean, look, I get what you're saying because he is talented offensively, but the risk does not match the reward, and it's not like he's not fitting a need that you need in that position.
Yeah.
Right? Paxton Clean's not going to be out for the year, and Gavin Dugas is not going to be out for the year, and the rest of your lineup is hitting fine. So,
Adding a bat is always great, but we have to be able to have somewhere on the other side to be able to put him.
Would Gavin Guidry be the better question as to who to put in? Because he can play second.
well, that would be the other thing. I mean, that would be a better.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, that
now
would be a
you're
better
talking
option.
a possibility. Yeah.
But I mean, that
I just, like he said, I don't really think it's going to be a thing. I think Gavin's going to be back and healthy soon. But if this were to be prolonged, maybe.
I mean, you could. Okay, now that I'm thinking, you could put Barrett Jones at catcher.
No. He
Beloso,
hasn't caught all year.
Beloso at first.
No, he hasn't caught all year.
DH.
What? You just hear me?
Skeens.
Did you just hear me? No, he hasn't caught all year.
He knows
No.
how.
So now you're
No.
going to put so you're going to change the lineup, and you're going to put a player who hasn't caught all year.
Doesn't he play catcher?
He
Yeah, okay,
hasn't
so as
caught-
soon as you see a pass ball, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah, you're
as soon
gonna
as you
put-
see a botch ball, you're going to be pissed.
Yeah, you're going to put him at catcher who hasn't caught all year. Then you're going to put somebody in the box who hasn't hit all year.
On top of that, too, let me just flip this around. Let me show you how many problems you're posing right now. You don't think
Try to shake
the
things up.
the first ball that Ty Floyd throws that he thinks that should have been caught and is not caught, I'm telling you right now, his mindset's going to go, why the hell is he back there? I haven't thrown to him all year.
Well, we're up 12-0.
All year. Why is he back there? Because now it's 12-2. You get what I'm saying? And those are my runs that just scored. So, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, it'll never happen. But I just wanted,
That would-
to give you and ask him and him. I can't
appreciate
have my
that.
own. I
No,
submitted my own
appreciate-
question.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
That's
that.
why I posed the question to you at first. I was like, were you really asking this? Or you
That's
just...
a great Ask M&M on Mondays. That's a new Ask M&M on Mondays. And
Lloyd gets one.
We appreciate it. Ask M&M is brought to you by FCO Development. I appreciate all the questions. Please let them come in. If you have questions that you want us to maybe ask Jay on Wednesday, let us know. We will take that into consideration. Usually we We do a pretty good job of hitting all the stuff that people want to hear about anyway. But give us your 2 cents. All right, let's go to the Seggies. Mistake of the day brought to you by our friends down at Doe's Eat Place.
All right, we just got another one in. Do you want it or no?
Do we want it?
It's a good one.
Okay.
From Hunter Fournette, my guy. Would you believe that Ty Floyd currently has a better ERA than Drew Beam?
See?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who any of these people are. He does
Okay,
way
so
more
Drew
about baseball
Beam,
than I do.
Chase Burns, and
Dollander
are all from Tennessee. Hurston,
Waldrop is from
Waldrop
Florida.
is
The kid-
from-
that was the kid that was at
Yeah.
Southern Miss last year.
Yep, and Brandon Spote is he at Vandy?
I don't know. Maybe he's at Wake Forest. I don't know. I don't know
But-
who that guy is.
I do believe that, and like I think that's just you're comparing everybody in the rotation to Skeens, and yes, Ty Floyd hasn't been as sharp the last 3 weeks, but he has
Spoke's
been.
at
He was
Florida.
great early on, huh?
Spoke's at Florida.
Spoke's at Florida.
Yeah, I can believe he does. Like he's been good, he's been really, really,
Right.
really good.
Right.
Like really good. That it doesn't surprise me at all that that's what it is.
Which I'm all for, and that's the reason why he hasn't moved out of that Saturday spot. All right.
All right, that was the last one.
I'll just add to this. For me, the type of pitcher that Ty Floyd is when he's off,
It's tough.
it's not a Ty Floyd thing. It is literally everyone that is cut of that same type of mold.
Yep.
When they're off, it's tough because their misses they're not competitive.
Yep.
Their misses are way out of the zone. So if you're going to pitch that way when they're off, it becomes very hard when you're not in a good spot.
Oh, now they're pouring in. All right, ask M&M. Bigger chess game, baseball or football? From Kirk Landrenew.
A bigger chess game.
Bigger chess game, honestly, football.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, I mean, you see the scouting they have to do. I couldn't go into a week and play in a football game if I don't get on the field and get to practice against what it is that you do.
Now, better like
In-game chess game?
Yeah. I was about to say, what's more
In-game
in-game?
adjustments.
Like inside of it, like how are you gonna counteract a move that somebody else makes? Baseball, because it's just easier. One guy makes a move, like one manager puts a guy in. Okay, now you make a counter move to that. Football, it's not as you move your formations and that kind of stuff, but
Player for player.
yeah,
Baseball's
Right?
different.
agree. Now, football's got a lot of it too, but like you get it. Okay, hey, we're pinch hitting this guy. Okay, now we're bringing this guy out of the bullpen just for that moment. You know what I mean? You got to manage the bullpen a little bit. They're saying
I'm gonna go with football in both, man. Honestly,
Football's got it too.
And the reason why I'm gonna go with football in both is, listen, baseball is a mental game. There is a lot that goes on outside of just literally doing it. But football, one, we got to practice all week to figure out what it is that you've shown on tape that you do, right?
Right.
I don't really practice against Hurston Waldrop all week.
Right.
I'll just see him on Friday. I'll watch some of his stuff. We'll get the analytics of what he's done, but I'm not in the cage on the machine practicing against Hurston Waldrop all week. It's not a thing, right? Also, when I get up here now, making the adjustments I think that happen in the game is in football. It is in a way a lot more like the in-game adjustments that happen as for players, I guess, if you will. In baseball is when situations change.
Yeah, right.
Right? I don't call a play in the huddle and call 3 plays and then switch to the third one after you roll the safeties.
Yeah, right.
And after this guy shows that he's doing all this, right? We had to practice and figure all that out. So, like, it's different types of things, but I think there's probably more preparation for specific opponents in football than there is in baseball.
I agree with that.
All right, one more coming up from Barrett Granger. Are the umps getting worse, or is it just me? And I feel like that's a nuanced question because we've kind of had this conversation where it feels like the game's getting a little bit faster, right? For the amount of talent on the mound.
I don't think they're getting worse. I think you're just dividing their attention more. Once again, you're asking them to do all kind of stuff they shouldn't be there doing, right? And then now when you divide my attention, well, then less of the attention on what's the real job that I was actually set here to do.
Agreed. I mean, it's just they have a lot. They're asked a lot. They're asking them to do a lot, right, above what they are normally trained to do. Right? They're learning how to do more. Things are moving a lot faster. Pitches are being thrown harder. Guys are hitting balls harder. All these types of things. But And I think also with social media, you see it a lot more. Like you're
Yeah.
seeing the mistakes.
There is
more
light.
Than you
There's
have.
100% light to it a lot more.
Yeah.
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 Okay, one more good one. He brought it back to my attention. Jason Warwick. With the current injuries and Javen Coleman out, which saw him in the old pen a little bit this weekend. Do we have a deep enough staff for the SEC, tourney, or Omaha?
Yes.
Yes, but current day, right now, as of right now, when it comes to the tourney, SEC tournament, and our Omaha, I do think that they're in a bad spot if they got to come from the losers bracket. Now listen, pretty much every team is, but I do think they are, because if there's one spot right now that we can specifically say they're thin, is the pin, right? So if we're thinner in the pin right now, then that's not the spot where you need when we got to play more games.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that they are deep enough. Javen Coleman is going to be back, hopefully at some point in the next few weeks. You're going to get some guys back. Ackenhausen hasn't pitched. Coleman hasn't pitched. You're going to get those guys back. Obviously, doesn't look like Shores and Edwards, like there's no update, so it doesn't look like they are promising to come back. But you still have guys who are out there that are able to pitch. So I think they are deep enough. Good thing about it is you don't need them right now to do it get through the SEC. You need to wait another 5 weeks.
Well, for Shores and Edwards, to me, no news in a sense is kind of good news right now, right? Because I do feel like if it was the worst, we probably would have heard a little bit about it already. That hasn't really happened yet.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a longer, process for them to get back, and maybe they are ready for postseason ball, right? But I still hold out hope that we haven't heard anything about where they are right now.
Maybe, yeah. All right. Yep, Doe's Mistake of the Day. Mistake of the Day is brought to you by Doe's Eat Place. Go for it, Lloyd.
It was.
You can still do it.
It was the
it's fine.
Caglione and the Florida, and that's what I said whenever we had the Does. Whenever we started getting on it, I was like, "Hey, I've already put this in the chat, in the document. That was going to be my Does Mistake of the Day was on the umpires.
Yeah.
So I didn't really prepare for a second one. I probably should have known that we were going to tackle it earlier.
It's all right. That's a mistake of the day.
That was going to be my mistake of the day.
That is a mistake.
He basically Caglione gave himself his own, what do you call it, whatever you get, like a silent treatment. He wanted, whenever, you appear in the bigs and ever you hit your first home run and you're like, I don't expect anything. He did it to himself.
Yep.
But that's kind of where, I guess, it kind of ties into what umpires are doing right now. And so that was going to be my mistake of the day was it's gotten out of hand a little bit. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it has gotten on it. I'm on it. We've talked about it. I'm on it. I agree with that. So, okay.
A lot happening.
All right, Curtain Call is brought to you by our friends down at Assured Partners. What you got?
My curtain call is to, and God damn it, if this is my last chance for Michael Thomas. I'm giving him one more shot because there's a video out. Last year we had a video of him sprinting for the first time, and we all got very excited that he's going to play again.
Right.
Now we have another video of him deadlifting 530 pounds. Is this something that we should believe in or no?
No.
To believe that he deadlifted 530?
No, believe that this is a sign that he's going to be able to play again.
No.
I don't think so, because I think it's more about him running and stationary. But that's great. I'm glad he did that. That's good. That means he looks good. Looks great.
Whatever he needs to do to get right, but that doesn't impress me one bit.
It's 530 a lot.
Decent, but he is doing it from a lifted platform, and he is doing the hex, which is not the same as barbell. It's a lot easier to do the hex. Just telling the truth.
Oh, I know, but yeah, I do
Just
know
the
that.
truth. But, it's not light, but no. Whatever.
It's a little assisted lifting.
Whatever. When I think of Michael Thomas, that's not what I
That's
think of when it comes to being impressive.
Right.
So that's mine.
All right. What's yours?
Mine, if you missed it this weekend, Major League Baseball did celebrate a day that's very near and dear to my heart because I do think...
And they do it for the whole weekend, which I like.
Yeah, they do. I do think they... this is a day in integration, I think that's been something... Or this person to what has been integration for American citizens has been very paramount to kind of pushing the ball forward. So Major League Baseball celebrated Jackie Robinson Day. And something I love that I think they just started last year that they do is it was for a while everyone was wearing 42. Now it's the Brooklyn Dodgers color 42 that's
awesome.
on everyone's uniform.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're in Miami and you're used to wearing teal and black. It doesn't matter if you are in Houston and you're used to wearing orange and navy blue. Everyone's number was 42, and it was in Brooklyn Dodger blue, and I think
great.
it's really cool.
So, fun fact, my first career home run came with me wearing number 42. How crazy is that?
That's great. No
Toronto.
name on your jersey.
No name on the jersey. Number 42 hit the homer in Toronto.
That's great.
It was great.
So yeah, that's my.
First
I actually love that a lot, man. I think days like that are pretty cool, man.
I
It's
agree.
something special.
Kind of the best part of baseball.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, my curtain call is to. I'm gonna pull. Oh, I guess I can't pull it up. You have to pull it up. Staying on the Dodgers front. I think I've talked about this guy on the show maybe last year.
I think once.
Yeah. So this guy, Andrew Toles. If you don't know him, because you haven't followed baseball, that's fine. Andrew Toles went to college. He went to Tennessee. Played against him in college. Then he leaves Tennessee for he had some issues going on in Tennessee. He left. Gets drafted by the Rays. He makes it up. He's like super.
It's a hitter.
Yeah, he's just a very good baseball player, but he had some issues. You could tell. You didn't know what it was. You could tell, and so he had some issues. Rays released him. Dodgers pick him up. He makes it to the big leagues of the Dodgers. Is actually in the playoffs, doing well with them. All of a sudden, has issues. Ends up being homeless. He got diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia, right? And you could tell if you knew him, when you talked to him, you knew that something wasn't right. He needed a little bit of help. The Dodgers gave him some help, got him right. Then he went off and kind of lost his way a little bit. The Dodgers, I think it was a couple years ago, the Dodgers saw that he was in a bad spot, came to his rescue, brought him back, got him help, and now they just signed him to a contract not to play baseball again, but to allow him to have the big league medical insurance to get him the help that he needs to be able to treat his disorders, which I think is awesome, right? Because a lot of times you see these athletes are done with sports or done with the team, and the team just forgets about them because, oh, you can't benefit me anymore. There's nothing we can do. This shows you that there is, the Dodgers are doing the right thing. It's humane to do this. It is a good thing that they're giving him an option and giving him resources to be able to treat a severe condition. So that's my curtain call. I think that's a great move by the Dodgers, and I think it's a great look for baseball and for professional sports.
It's called taking care of your own.
No doubt.
And I love that it didn't take a severe circumstance for it to public circumstance for it to happen. All those things for, the stuff that happened with the Buffalo Bills. And look, I'm sure they're doing right by him, and I think he actually might play again. But my point is I'm glad it didn't take something like that for people to say, oh, maybe I should step forward. No, they said, hey, we'll step out ahead of this and get this done. Because he would be still in the big leagues right now had he not been addressed and running through, all these issues and stuff. Like you said, it had been for a long time that you could tell just something was not right, if you will.
And I feel like this isn't the first time they've done it. This might be the second year that they've done this, where they've.
It's been known for a while now. I'd say 10 plus, maybe even longer, that the Dodgers are literally the gold standard as far as for taking care of players through the minors, in the big leagues, on the field, off the field, nutrition, everything. They're leading the class of those things.
Yeah, very good job. What they've done is, that's awesome. And so, kudos. That's my curtain call. I think that's a good one.
Okay, well, yeah, it's the best one.
Oh, why'd you hesitate like that?
Because it just feels obvious that was a great one. That's unbelievable.
I'm just glad that's when we started the segment. That's what I wanted the segment for. It's good things, positive things. Doesn't have to necessarily be sports, but just positive things.
Yeah.
That's what honestly I want people who are watching the show or listening to the show. If y'all have curtain calls, y'all can submit them. We can have a fan curtain call.
Curtain call.
Good, huh?
Curtain call.
First curtain call, yeah. a fan curtain call for some things that you like, that you thought that needs to have a little bit extra recognition. Yep. Great show today. Great Monday. Great way to start the week. We'll be back again live on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. It will be Jay Johnson Wednesdays. We will have Jay Johnson interview on Wednesday. We'll be, get someone else in there probably at some point. We'll, baseball talk, preview the Ole Miss weekend.
We're here for all of his
about the other NBA
hard-hitting
basketball,
questions.
NBA playoff start. What's that?
So we're here for all of his hard-hitting questions.
All of the hard-hitting questions. So we appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the love. We appreciate y'all coming up to us when you see us saying that you enjoy the show, because we enjoy that. We enjoy bringing enjoyment to you. And please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. Please share it with friends, family, whoever else that you think would like our show. Please let them know. If you don't watch our show and you can't watch our show, or anywhere you get your podcast, as long as Lloyd posts them, which I think he does now regularly. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you on Wednesday. We love you.
Skip's daughter to subscribe.
Nice. There you go. Got another subscription. Love that. Thank you, Lloyd.
It stinks, but it's
picking up.
See y'all
later.
Oh, wait. Before we go, score predictions for tomorrow.
Tell us you get tomorrow.
Because UL has a stud.
Pitching tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
They're throwing their guy?
They always do.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yes.
They are throwing their guy.
Who's LSU throwing tomorrow? You know?
I don't know.
I'm going to go...
I'm going to go 9-3.
Oh, I was about to say 9-4. No. I mean, it was 7-5 then. I was literally going to say 9-4, 7-5. Yeah.
Who do you think LSU throws?
I think this is good, like their biggest midweek test.
I think Thatcher gets to start because they do have a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series this week, which is another bonus.
Sets up for him to be able to throw again on Sunday. Okay. That's all. Right. That was it. That's Mikie and Mitch.
Great show. Every Monday.
Love you, boys.
Love you too, Lloyd. Love you too.
Love you, Lloyd. Turn the mics off.
I'm going to keep them on. They're off.